Happy Thursday, everyone, and how is everybody doing today? Today, I'm going to come on and do a little random thought, and I'm going to have Wendy Baird come on in with me today because I want to discuss about network marketing, entrepreneurial businesses. And a lot of times, we've all wanted to be a part of a networking. We've always wanted to start our business some type of way. Hello, Joe. How are you, brother? We've always wanted to start our business in some type of way. And most of us never knew how to get a business started or why we're starting it in the first place. Let me see if Wendy has come in yet. No, she hasn't come in yet. Wendy's going to be on with me today, and we're going to kind of have a discussion about why are you starting your own business? Do you know some of the things that's needed? Just kind of a discussion. And I've always wanted to have a discussion about this because I, over years, have done some wild and crazy things. How about some of the things I didn't even expect that I would be doing? But I've had an opportunity to do some things. And I want to share with you some of my experiences and some of my thoughts that I've had over this time. And hello, Cuz. I'm glad to see you here with me. And that's Mike, as the world would call him, and I just happen to call him my own just regular everyday cousin. So I'm just waiting till Wendy get in here. Let me see if yes, she's here. Wendy, see if you can send me a invite, although I should be able to bring you on camera with me. Okay, let's see if this will let me give me just a second, everyone, while I try to bring Wendy in here. It should just drop on up. It just has one person. Okay, Wendy, send me a friend request. I should have you on. I don't know why this is not letting me grab you on here. Are you on a computer or are you on a cell phone or a pad? Hi, Kitty Cat. Hello, Miss Kathy Holiday. I'm trying to bring on Wendy. I'm just trying to see how she's going to get here. Okay, are you on a cell phone, Wendy, or are you on a computer? And I need to know that so that way I can tell you how best to come in here with this Facebook Live. And this is kind of fun, everybody, because the discussion is going to be brief. We're not going to be all night talking about some of these types of things. And it's funny, I've had such an opportunity over this last year to be a part of so much. And I look forward to it. Okay, you're on a computer and it's not letting me bring you on. I see you said that you're on a computer. Hello, Patricia Lynn Stokes. I'm trying to bring in Wendy here, but I'm having just a moment of trying to get her in here so we can talk about this. But her computer there should be a way on your computer that you should be able to find an invite on your computer. And everybody, Facebook Lives are not always the easiest thing to bring someone on. It takes a couple of minutes. There should be some type of invite because I've tagged you in here, so I know that you should be able to come in on camera with me. Let me double check as I do a couple other things here and bring you in, and you're here, so I know that you're here. I love these. These are always so much fun. Okay, Wendy, I just sent you another invite into the group. And I'm going to do this in such a way. I think she needs to be on a cell phone. Yeah, Patricia said you should be on a cell phone because everybody else is in. I don't see anything on my end. Can you come in off of your cell phone for me? And it should be pretty easy. I know you like your computer, so try again. Hello, Kim. I'm so glad that you're here, and I enjoyed you being a part of the discussion we had earlier today, Kim. That was so nice for you to jump in to be able to see some of the things we're having going on for 2017. Lord have mercy, 2019. I keep wanting to go back year after year instead of going forward, and yet this is a time of life that we should all go forward in things. So as I'm waiting for Wendy to try to use her cell phone to see if she can bring me in, do anybody have any thoughts on why they're interested in starting their own business, or what are some of the downfalls that you're having inside of here? And yes, Wendy, when you come in, make sure you turn your cell phone sideways also, because that'll bring you in, but it should tell you that. And hello, Gordon. How are you doing today, sir? I'm glad you're in here. I'm going to be talking with Wendy. We're going to talk about entrepreneurial businesses and why people should be doing entrepreneurial businesses, because it's so much fun. I had an opportunity this year to come in and do some special things. Hey, got you, Wendy. Right now, so you all give Facebook their extra minute. Hey, Wendy, kind of see half your face. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing nice. Here, let me go ahead and set my phone up real fast.
Okay, well, while you're setting your phone up,
There
we
we
want to
go.
know, what are some of the reasons that you've been thinking about? Have you ever, type anyone that's ever wanted to have their own business, type a 1 in here for me. Anybody that's ever wanted to do their own business. And this is not to solicit anyone inside of the group at all. I'm not soliciting. We're just having a conversation. So anybody in this group ever wanted to start their own business, type a 1 for me. That way I know that you're a part of it, because we're going to have such a magnificent conversation. And Keely says she wants to be in. Gordon says he wants to have his. Patricia says she's been interested in starting her own business. Nisi says she wanted to start hers. So let me ask you, Wendy, have you ever decided that you want to start your own business?
Oh, I grew up in an era with my mom and dad who have always had their own business, generation after generation, that the thought of not having my own business was never embedded into my head, even at birth. So I was pretty fortunate along those lines.
Have you ever done any networking?
Oh, absolutely. I've actually been in the industry for about 14 and a half, almost 15 years in March.
Can you tell us about how you felt when you first began in that business?
I was excited. It was actually a candle company that I was introduced to almost like 15 years ago. But I was a single mom, 2 young children, baby just popped out of the oven for number 3. And I living in such a small little town, and everybody was so voodoo when it came to network marketing back then that it was almost like a hobby that you couldn't quite take as a serious business, just given my circumstances of where my life was at. So dabbling in the deals was what I used to call it.
Dabbling in the deals.
Yeah, just sell just enough to pay for my own obsession. It was never really a lifestyle thought of what I could actually have for a future. I was always taught to own your own business and work your patootie off, and work all day, all night, 16-hour days, and, just doing everything that everybody else wouldn't, and going above and beyond and checking in with the employees, and then going back and forth behind the employees and fixing everything that was not to your standards. So, my mentality has always been ownership, but the working harder, not smarter. So within the network marketing industry, I've met people and I've learned skills in order to revert to a different way of life. Thank God. What about you? What started your journey?
I remember when I first started out, I was, that young man that I guess I've always wanted to have my business, right? I wanted to be that millionaire at 21. I can tell you right now, I did not become a millionaire at 21. I became a good dollar heir. Even though I started my own, I was working and I had gotten laid off of a job, and I had just gotten married, just had a brand new child, and I needed to get some money. So there was a company out years ago. I don't know if the company still exists. I'm going to call it by its name. It was called Princess House Crystal.
Okay.
And they used to sell all the fine crystal wares and the plate and the dishes. And I was just so happy to be a part of it, because I knew that I can sell crystal to everyone. Who doesn't like crystal?
Right.
So I started my journey out there, and I hit the streets hard. I asked, of course, family and friends, and they told me no. And the counselor, no. And then I was so afraid to ask other people. I didn't know what to do. I knew I wanted my own business, but I didn't know what it took. And I figured that, you know, starting a network marketing business, it didn't cost me much to get in, so I can get my feet wet and learn some of the tricks and what to do.
Right.
So as I was venturing out there, trying to set myself up and get myself all ready and getting used to, you know, people telling me no, that lasted all about 90 days, maybe 6 months.
Okay.
Because I couldn't take the rejection, and I didn't understand what the rejection was. But I'm like everybody else, you know, you want to start your business, but you don't know what it takes.
Yeah.
So I started asking myself, so what would it take? What would do next? So after I got my feet wet with the first business, I started on my second network marketing business. Needless to say, I didn't do as well, but I didn't do as bad the second time around, and that was Amway. Who didn't get an Amway at the time? I had a choice between Amway and Avon, and I figured I would do better doing Amway than Avon.
Yeah.
So I started selling soaps and detergent, and anybody remember Amway, you remember they used to have everything for your house that you could have ever wanted. It was just the business of being out there.
Yeah.
But I learned, again, I didn't understand business. I didn't understand what it would take. I made a little bit of money inside of there, but I was still struggling. And I mean, I know, you know, can you agree with that? Can you understand when I'm saying I struggled? And
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who's been in network marketing. Have you ever struggled in network marketing?
No, absolutely.
And if anybody, okay, here's a better question. Anyone that has been in network marketing, have you ever been told no?
God, I hope so. You know, I think it was the no's that strengthened everything about me. It kind of shaped my character within this industry. If everybody was yes, 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 then how big would my head be right now? I'd be like, yeah, I'm all that, you know. But the no's, the rejection, the reasons behind why people aren't interested in whether it's the product, the service, or whatever the case may be, you know, it taught me how to get to know people. It taught me how to reach out and have a genuine relationship with strangers in order to see if I can fill a need. And if I can't, then I'm establishing a relationship to where if something down the line I can help them with, great. You know, maybe there's something they do that I can get some benefit from and actually form a real relationship. But if it's just a simple yes, then I'm not searching for the reason why not. You know, so it was kind of interesting for me once I realized what was happening.
Let me put you on the hot seat for a second.
Uh-oh.
That's all right.
Brace myself.
It's not too many coals on the fire yet.
Nah, no worries.
In doing network marketing, here's the question. How do people not become successful? What are some of the things you learned during the time of getting into it? What were some of the things people brought to you? You know, like, is this a such and such type of a scheme? Oh,
okay. So now are you asking why have people not been successful, or?
No, some of the reasons that you know, because you heard all of these questions before. What were some of the questions that they asked? You know, I know for me, and I'll just and I'll step out the way in a second. They said, you're part of a pyramid scheme. How did you attack questions like that?
You know, just literally, I laugh. I would laugh out loud because I know what this is. I've been the one that's done the homework. I've looked into the company, I've looked into the co-founders, and I've looked into what it's about. But somebody on the outside just being asked a question obviously hasn't learned what I learned about that specific business. You know, a lot of people have either know somebody or they've tried a company that was a get rich quick. But I would have to say more often than not, the people that say pyramid scheme, or is it one of those things, are people that were promised that it was a get rich quick, that they tried a company. People were so excited just to have a partner that they never explained the work that was going to be entailed. And they didn't have that clear vision, or they were clouded by what they could achieve because of the dream that they didn't look at the reality of it. And then in order to have an excuse to leave the company, have an excuse for why they haven't been as successful as what they think they should have been, it's easier to place the blame on others, whether it's, you know, teammates, leadership, training, not having the tools that you think that you need. It's always somebody else's fault. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but the ones that have that stereotypical, you know, this is a pyramid scheme or this is a scam, are people who have never opened their eyes to truly learn what needs to be done for whatever opportunity that was brought their way in the past or someone that they knew. So they don't know the reality of what we as individuals are doing that are keeping it real and legit. But my go-to when somebody says something along those lines is, listen, you know me well enough to know that I would never do anything illegal. If you don't know me well enough for that, then we shouldn't be having a conversation about business regardless. But when it comes to my life, I've been doing this particular business for almost 4 years now. Don't you think within that time frame I would have found out if there was anything illegal involved? But if I'm still getting a check that's taking care of my electricity, my gas, my cell phone bills, you know, my car payment, the insurance on my car, and the only thing I have to cover monthly is like the mortgage.
Yes.
And then, you know what? Bring the scam back into my life over and over and month again, you know, and it's not for everybody. And if you're not interested, no big deal. We can still have a nice conversation. We'll just change the subject. And then,
you know, it's funny. I mean, but that's funny. Somebody would look at a McDonald's, and we're going to use, everybody likes to pick on McDonald's, and I'm not going to be any exception to it.
Anything's good with enough bacon.
Right. When you look at McDonald's, I don't think that anybody is looking for that as a franchise would say, hey, is this a pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
McDonald's are built all over the world. And I mean, literally every country that I've been in, every island that I've been in or been on, and everything that I've stopped at, there's always a McDonald's. And yet people will spend $1.5 million to get a McDonald's franchise, and they don't earn any money for the first 5 years.
Oh, absolutely.
They earn absolutely not a dime for the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And you wonder why someone would look at a network marketing business. It doesn't matter who's network marketing. I'm not kicking anybody's network marketing here. And I'm not trying to draw anyone into anybody's particular network marketing business. We're just having a conversation about some of the things that have happened during our time.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, just out there, someone would ask me about a pyramid scheme. And I was like, okay, this is still a business. This is my business. When I want to find out how much it would cost to start your average business out there, I knew I was one of the few people that did not have an extra $50,000 set aside to start a business or to see where it would go.
Right.
Nor would I have anybody to assist me, because they figure that I would do my due diligence just like you would in any business that you would want out there. I would study it so hard that I knew what was going to happen. And most of the time, it's just like going to school. And anybody here that has gone to school, be it if it's grammar school, high school, college, university, whatever that you have been in, here's the question. When you got into the field of what you wanted, was it the same as what you were taught?
No.
Most of us don't. Most of us get a degree in a field that we have never, ever turned around and worked in. And we're finding out with networking, you know, network marketing, just those type of companies, because I've been in those, that I can give you my expertise in that. I mean, I started in the business of Princess House when I was 20 years old. So that was a little bit over 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you, you know, to have been in a while. So I'm asking here, is anybody here, because I don't want to leave out anybody that's been listening, have anybody else actually been in a network marketing business? And the second question with that, have you succeeded when you began to try, or is it easier now that you have gone through your experiences? And you can answer those yes or no, however that you would like it. But while I was in these businesses, and I had to learn how to first understand that no was a part of what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that was in the group, and it's always great to have a network marketing business where people actually know what they're talking about and don't mind assisting you.
because that's something like what we're doing here, but we're not putting you in any group. And I like it says it's earlier now, but that's what I'm talking about, Kathy. One of the greatest things is they tell me in baseball, if you turn around and get no hits, you're not in the game. So I had to learn from my first 10 people, I was getting no hits. I was getting no. It almost became a part of my name. And then I got the one person out of my first 30 because I stood in the game long enough. And then, you keep going till you get that second one. Well, in baseball, if you hit 2 hits or you have a 200 average, you at least you're a player in the game. You can turn around and almost ask for the salary that you want. But if you get the third, 3 out of 10 people, then they consider you to be a millionaire. But it takes time, persistence, and effort. Plus, you need people behind you in order to do things, as you go along. Kathy she has her own mobile notary show, mobile notary business. And she started in a business several years ago, not knowing what the results would be, like most businesses would be. And I want you to also understand that when you're starting a business and you don't know what the outcome is, do you go into the business or not? What did you do when you didn't really know the outcome? Did you stay with your business or did you just let it drop by the side, Wendy?
Did what? That last part?
So when you started getting momentum, did you get rid of that business or did you keep going, and why?
Well, I mean, like I had a lot of struggles with the first businesses, just being a single mom and a lot of emotional stuff that I put in our book. But like within this last business that I found my home in, where I've been in for like 4 years, it's the little gains, the little wins that, have really propelled to keep the momentum going. A body at rest stays at rest, a body in motion stays in motion, and it's no different within this industry. So for myself, it's finding the little things that I enjoy, what makes me happy with what I do, and then person in motion. Or I don't know what that was. But as soon as I start feeling a little bit down, whether it's on a personal level or I start getting more no's than usual, then I revert back to my happy place. And, my happy place is talking to people, giving them free quotes and, and just regaining that relationship. Is that on my end?
I guess so.
That was weird. Okay.
But you said it best.
Yeah.
You said relationships.
Yeah.
How important are relationship building in any company?
Honestly, that's one of the things that I've been working on, and I haven't had my grand exposing of yet, but I'm trademarking the phrase residual relationships, because every relationship, whether it is a relationship, a friendship, a customer, a boss, strangers, acquaintance, anything, anytime we touch one another as human beings, it is a relationship. And it's all a different level, but we have to have that residual relationship. Because if you touch somebody's life and it's just an encounter, hi, how are you? Okay, bye-bye now, and you never see each other again, then you had a moment, but that was it. That's not a relationship. A relationship is something that is going to continue, even if it's every 5 years. But how are you strengthening that relationship in order to make sure it's residual? Not just in business, but, having a relationship with your children, your parents, friends and family, just people that you are, at the grocery store with. It's engaging in that human nature and touching one another's lives in order to have a friendly conversation. And in this business, it's important to gain the strength of having a residual relationship. And, the best way of doing that is to be memorable. What can you do to be memorable? When you think about the relationships that people have, especially like maybe a cashier at a grocery store or something, then it's just one customer after another. But in order to touch each other's lives, make the person smile. It's the very bare minimum.
Yes.
Open the door for somebody, It doesn't have to be a long drawn up, hey, let's have coffee. And it's like, honey, I was just buying a gallon of milk. What made you think I'd want to go have coffee? You know?
Okay.
But I mean, but relationship business, who are you being as a person? You know, and that to me is the most important thing, because if you aren't gaining that trust, you're not gaining that relationship, then people are running from you when they see that you're coming, because you're just the person who's trying to sell them something, or that you're out to get something from them, and that it can't just be a 50-50 conversation, you know?
So let me recap. Lord have mercy. Let me recap here.
You know, I don't have that little buzzer
saying,
that beeps out those languages. You cannot say that on TV.
Let me recap here, everyone. So inside of network marketing, a lot of times what we talk about is the beginnings of, it's not going to be easy when you first step out. That's one of the biggest things that we all know. It doesn't matter what the business is. Researching your business also is one of the most important things, because you start to learning something about it. It's hard to be in a business where you don't know much. You're not going to know enough to get started, and you're going to get few yeses and a whole lot more no's.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that that's just a part of the business, because when we're looking at something, it's important to know some of the things that you're going through, because people won't let you know this. It's 3, building relationships.
Yeah.
Because that person may not be a customer for you, but it may be a customer for someone else as they're going along, as they're doing their training, as they're building their confidence. Because number 4, we'll talk about this, and it's the self-confidence.
Right.
Most of us that start a business, I don't care what your business is that we all have little confidence about what we're doing. We know that we have our goals, right? Or dreams. I won't even call them goals, because goals become when you actually set a deadline and you put some action to it.
Right.
But we all have these dreams out here, and we talk about we're going to sit up here and do something someday. Someday is on the same island as I don't know. We don't know what that is or how we're going to get to it.
Yeah.
And we use procrastination and or fear as our reason for not doing something. When we're talking about business and your relationship business, is to actually know that begin. 2019 is not even around the corner. It's just a couple of days away. And in those couple of days away, what are some of the things that you're going to be doing? How are you going to, are you going to start your business, or how are you going to enhance your business? Because you have to know that it takes courage to do it, even though that the hardest thing is just to get started.
Right.
You're never supposed to be the first no in starting your own business.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
And,
Sorry about that. I had to get the thought bubble out of there.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Often we know that no talks us out of things, and we want to start this conversation because Wendy and I have had these conversations, and it's amazing how we've met a couple years ago, and both of us became best-selling authors.
Yeah.
In the book Empowering Women to Succeed. And it was amazing to say, hi, I am now an author, because we started doing something that we didn't know how much that would change our lives. And it was all about a decision. Yes.
No,
It was a decision
well,
to
it
go
was
ahead and do
amazing,
something.
because it's like I got a notification one morning and congratulations, you're a #1 international bestseller. And I'm like, they haven't even printed the book yet. What? You know, so it was surreal. And to be living in such a tiny little town, you know, where
Yes.
there's only a handful of people who even wrote a book, let alone published, you know, and little old me that I never thought would happen, you know, and then you get that notification in the morning. It's like, wow, you know, a lot has changed since then, since, what was it, May, I think, that the book was, or at least the one that I did with, was released.
And mine was 2 years ago.
Yeah, volume 3 and volume 4. And so, yeah, it was a world of difference.
So we talk about, first, have a desire to do something greater than yourself. Second, have faith that you can do it. Third, do it.
Yeah.
Make the decision to go out and do something that you have been waiting for your entire lifetime. 5, look into the business that you're looking into, because we want you to take it to the next step, to the next level.
Yeah.
We're going to be here as we're doing these Facebook Lives, and Wendy and I have decided that we're going to start our own Facebook page. And Wendy, I'll let you talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we created a Facebook page last night, or it's a Facebook group, and we're going to be able to have every single series and episode within what Lester and I have planned within that group. So if anybody is interested in joining that group, please just toss a 5 into the comments. And between the two of us, one of us will reach out and either add you or send you the link to where you can go ahead and request to join. But we're going to be able to have a series. What is today? Is today Thursday? Wednesday? Yeah, so every Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard Time, Lester and I are going to get on. We're going to have a little bit of a different topic every week, but it's really just a conversation among friends. So we're going to make sure to, keep it lively a little bit. You touched upon really just getting to really know your business and investigating into it. I've done a lot of mentoring for not only people within my own company, but within different companies as well within the industry. And, so many times people get stuck in the information before they make a decision, and I think the number one important thing in network marketing is making a decision, but if you don't take it one step at a time, then it becomes so overwhelming that sometimes you just stand still. So the first decision, and we've got, people on the line here that have been in the industry for a while, and we've got people that are brand new, maybe looking into the industry. So I'm going to try to talk along the lines of something everybody will understand. But the first step is to make a decision. Do you want your own business? Not what will it be, not what company, not what leader you're going to follow, but do you want that? Once you've made your decision, then you take your next step forward. What are some options out there? Not just what you personally like, but are you looking to make a business in something that you personally like because you like it? Or is it something that's going to appeal to the masses to where you make the money? Are you going to sell makeup because you like makeup? But yet in the masses, are you going to make money? And I'm not downplaying any makeup, gurus out there. I still need to learn a few skills. But, it's what you do. I started with candles. I have a mini storage. I sell candles at a mini storage in a tiny little town that has more cows than people. You need sagebrush or roly-polies or anything like that, or tumbleweeds, I'm your gal. But it's not the place where people go to buy candles. So it wasn't a get rich quick. It wasn't I'm going to earn money. It wasn't something where it's like for a future. I was just taking care of the home business so mom and dad didn't have to. But adding candles because it was something I enjoyed. But is it the kind of business that you can consider more of a business than a hobby to where it's going to appeal to the masses? And back then, that was before social media got big. I don't even know if Facebook was around quite yet. It was right around the same time. So I didn't have the skills to be successful at the moment, but I didn't have the time in order to do it. So when I made a decision to have a business, I didn't make a decision to make that my life and a certain goal, but once you decide that you want to do a business, then the next goal is to see what business, what kind of business, who do you know that has a business, whether it's network marketing or brick and mortar, that you can reach out and talk to and see if their business is right for you. Are you going to have the leadership and the support that you need? Are you willing to be coachable and do what is asked of you if the steps and the system is in place in order to have that outcome? My family owned a Quiznos restaurant for 6 years, and we couldn't change the menu. We couldn't alter anything. And it's the same with Starbucks and McDonald's. You do what is on the menu. You do what is asked of you, so you have the same results in the end. And the same goes in any industry that we're in. You get into any of the network marketing that are out there, whether it's sales, when it comes to services or inventory, that people provide online or even a business tool. If you're not using the system, then how are you promoting the business? And if you don't know anything about the business, let alone how business has worked and promoted because you're new, then you're not going to have the same amount of success because you're taking so much time trying to figure it out. But if you can work with somebody that knows what they're doing and just trust that if you do what they did, that you're going to have the same results. And it may not be as fast, it could be faster, you know, then you're a lot more, you're better off. You know, you're not playing the game trying to figure out the rules as you go. You know, it's not like, okay, I'm going to learn how to play dodgeball, but I don't know how to dodge. I'm afraid of falling down. Do I go to the right? Do I go to the left? You know, so you're going to get smacked around a little bit before you actually realize, oh, okay, I'm going to duck. You know, but I mean, it's ultimately one step at a time making that decision. And then if you make a decision, it's a yes or a no. It's not a maybe. It's not a yes for now. It's a yes. But what do you got to do? And if you got to find out what you got to do before you say yes, then fine. But if you spend so much time trying to figure everything out before you say yes, before you take that step forward, then you just wasted so much time. And then you're second guessing everything that you do, where instead it's so much better to follow the system. And every company has a little bit different of a system. Every leader does as well, you know, but like with mine, it's a matter of getting yourself out of the way. You know, when I first got started in my industry, people didn't know me as someone who provides services. They knew that I knew how to make a kick-ass sandwich, that I'm going to remember your order for 6 straight years. You know, they knew me for the restaurant industry, but they didn't know me as services and helping people with bills. And so why would they trust me? But by getting myself out of the way and letting people that I talk to the people who have been doing it longer, and just being able to establish and edify that person as somebody who knows what they're doing as I'm learning, then I don't have to know anything. I'm learning as I go, but yet the people I know are going to be introduced to the people who know what they're doing. The two of them are together. I'm learning alongside, but they're already set up and established. You know, it's like you walk into a Best Buy and you start talking to them about cell phones. The person behind the counter should know what they're talking about. They not always, but they should. Some of them just know how to hit a button and scan something and look at the register, you know, but if they're the professional that actually knows what they're doing, then we walk in for their expertise. If you're introduced to something by somebody that you knew in high school as being the cheerleader, being the football player, or you knew them afterwards in, you know, the 9 to 5 or the industry, but then all of a sudden they're introducing this new business, then how it's that trust within the system of how it works. So when you're looking at who you're talking to and who your target market potential business partners and customers are, you're thinking, you know, in the beginning, you think so much about that individual person and you're prejudging, expecting the no, and what can I say and how can I manipulate the situation to make sure I have the outcome that I want, rather than this is what I do. If you'd like a quote or if you'd like information, great. If not, we'll just have a friendly conversation. That's it. You know, it's, you know, it's like walking up to that Best Buy person, and then they follow you home trying to convince you, you got to try this phone, you got to try this service. You're going to start running for the heels, you know, but this business is attached to our dream. It's attached to our why and what we're doing. And without having a decision to make a decision to work the system, and then the decision to trust your leadership in the way of moving forward, it just, people get confused. I mean, heck, you could be listening to me right now and being like, what on earth is she talking about? You know, and it's because I love this industry. I love what I do so much that you just can't shut me up.
So those of you all that have come here, and this is the question that we began with, and the question is real simple. Do you want to own your own business? And what are some of the things that it would take? Seems though that Wendy and I know a lot about networking and network marketing. We're going to start having these conversations. We're going to do this weekly conversation on Thursday. We're going to begin in a closed group So that way everybody gets used to talking with us and building a relationship. And for those of you all who are already entrepreneurs in your different businesses and you want to be a part of it and you want to be a part of the conversation, please, you know, Wendy's going to put a link in here for everybody so that everybody can see and know how to get in contact with us, because we're building our relationship. We're building something brand new, and we're already running into 2019. We did not wait until 2019 to begin this journey. This was not something that we were going to wait until next year to begin. Make a decision of what you really want in your life. How are you going to do it? Don't sit up there and procrastinate. Don't have the fear. We want you to start believing in yourself, start working on your self-confidence, start understanding that there are things out here that you can do as you're building your life and your career. Some people are looking at their 401k plans and they see them dropping, but they don't know how or where to get money. And networking is that. If you're retired, this is the way. If you're a millennial or even younger and you want to begin learning how to do business so you will have those extra. I don't know anybody that has not been broke at least once. I know a whole bunch of millionaires now, and they have all told me they have been actually broke. They have built their way to success, but it was a process. It didn't happen overnight. It was a process. So those of you all that want to keep joining us on our conversation, we're asking you to join our new Facebook group, and that's the Road to Networking. And we want you to start seeing some of the things that you can do. And hey, give it a try, because the investment here is not the investment that you're going to give when you're starting your own company, your own large Quiznos or McDonald's or Best Buy. It doesn't matter what it is, but it will start teaching you a way to start to build. And we're teaching you how to build relationships, how to see past some of your mistakes. And we'll talk about the mistakes that we've made and maybe some of the ones that you have made over time. So I'm going to close this out for today because we actually spoke a little longer than we know, but we all know that Facebook, it is it. And we're going to be podcasting. Her and I want to be also doing this on podcast. So you'll see us on Facebook. You'll hear us on our podcast. Right now, you know, Facebook is a worldwide product. Don't think it's just in your home, because I'm in Illinois, she's in California right now, and we wrote a book in Canada. So you can't turn around and say,
and I've never been there.
We may be anywhere on the planet, but we thank each and every one for coming along. And thank you so much, Wendy. This has been an amazing, and I always have so much fun talking with you.
Yeah.
So you all start looking for us, because we're rolling into 2019 the best way you can. We've already gotten started. So they always would say, make a prompt decision and be slow to change, but make your decision about what you want to see in your 2019. And I hope you all enjoying it with us. Until the next time. Thanks again, Wendy.
Absolutely.
See you all soon.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing today? I am Lester Bailey. For those that have not yet met me, I have an opportunity to work with some great people in America and outside of America, especially in Canada. My friend, mentor, and co-worker, Mr. Gordon So, has a Business Wealth Summit that's coming up on May 14th, Tuesday, May 14th, in Toronto, Canada. And it's all about teaching entrepreneurs about new lives and things that they can do differently. All of us want to have that really special something. We've always wanted to start a business. And a lot of times we don't know how to start a business, but we need to meet successful people who are in businesses and teaching you things. I've been reading this book called Think and Grow Rich for the last year. And it's been an amazing experience, while I invite one of my friends to come on with me, because this is so important, and I want you all to meet my friend here. So give me just a moment. Okay, let me send this out to her. And okay, thank you. I just had to get that. If I came off camera, please forgive me. But anyway, being in Canada, I've had an opportunity to become a best-selling author, and through Mr. Gordon So and his business associates. Being able to speak on stage, I was able to speak on stage. I was able to meet some grand people because I was in a book called Empowering Women to Succeed, Bounce. And I totally enjoyed that experience. So being in these experiences in life and being a part of this Business Wealth Summit, and this is the ninth year of a Business Wealth Summit, helping entrepreneurs and other people seeing what they want to have and where they want to go in life. It's one of the most special things. Have you ever wanted to be in business? Who have been your mentors? Who have been the people who have coached you along the way? Who are some of those people that have helped you succeed in the areas that you haven't succeeded yet? Well, me being with a close group called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill wrote a book in 1937, and he produced it for people who want to be in business and learning how to think and grow rich, not just physically rich, but how about mentally rich. And that's been such a special part of this session. Well, anyway, we're going to have Mr. John Shin. John Shin was an executive producer for the Think and Grow Rich, the movie. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere and says, I'm going to show you all of the things it takes you to be in business and to start changing your mindset. Most of us have always read the book or we've seen the movie, The Secret. And Think and Grow Rich came out of that secret. That secret, came out of Think and Grow Rich. It was that ability to take yourself into a new space of learning, and to be able to do that. So I'm going to bring on camera one of my my friend. Oh my goodness, someone that I just have to turn around to have. This is such an amazing person, and you're going to have an opportunity to meet this young lady. I have truly just, I got so many words for her and the development of the things that she has been doing. So as she's coming onto camera, because I want her to be here along with me and to do this. And you know, technology will take us extra minute. But in taking this extra minute, I guarantee this will be worth your while. I mean, this person will be truly worth your while, because you must see how to take your life into that special area and to see what's going on. Chantelle, it's adding you. It's just taking an extra moment here. And I'm not quite sure why it's taking this extra moment, because I can see it's adding you. But it's taking its time. So I tried to go back and see if I can do one or two extra things here. Oh, for you all, please just wait with me for a moment. Chantelle Simone, you all need to actually look this up. Chantelle, you came out of the camera. Let me try you one more time.
Oh.
Inside of here. I hear your voice. Where are you? Chantelle, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you see me?
No, there's no viewing of you at all. Can you see me?
I can. I can see you. I can see me. We're side by side on the screen.
Well, I don't see you at all.
Oh.
Let me see. Let me try this again. For those of you all that are out there, if anybody can actually see us, let me try to find out why I'm not seeing her at this moment. But there's more than one way to figure this thing out, so you all just bear with me in just a moment.
Let's see.
Let me see here. Oh my goodness. This will tell me for sure whether I can see you or not. Okay. Well, I have more than one way to beat this, and I'm now here. I can see you because all I had to do is add another camera.
and now I'm good.
Oh, on your computer. I'm looking at my
Yeah,
computer now to see.
that's all right. We're here. Like I said, I can see you, and I want to make sure that I could be able to see you as we go along. So, hello, Miss Chantelle Simone.
Hello, hello,
So,
hello.
I
Great
was just telling
afternoon.
I was just telling the world we're going to have a business wealth seminar, business wealth summit, May 14th, 2019. If anybody's interested in taking their business to a new level, new plateau, to be able to do that extra special thing that you've always been waiting for, and then you have what we call an expert panel. And some people that are going to be on the panel will be oh so good. This person I'm introducing to the world, for each and every one of you all that are with me right now, I have to introduce to you one of my friends, my business partner. I'm talking, this woman has changed my life. She has moved in such a way that I did not know that I can be so over happy, extra joyed with meeting this woman. Years ago, we've met, we're talking 4 years ago. And then we got back into contact with each other just recently in LA at the City Gala. And we had such an amazing time
Yes.
learning how we can work together. So Chantelle is what I call a master educator, and even better than that, how about a master trainer? Have you ever looked at yourself and you wondered, how do I get my thoughts in order, and what are some of the things to look for? Why am I doubting myself? How do I live on purpose? What is, learning something about your wealth is in your gift. She has so much information that is life changing right now. You're talking about somebody that's been in the industry for 15 years, training corporate trainers, not just training people that are there, but even corporate trainers on how to train people, how to use their mind greater and better than they've ever done before. So I love to be able to stand in the way and say, hey, this is it. I'll talk to her and I'm going to tell you everything about her. But you don't have the next 10 days for me to give you all the great stuff that I've learned about her in such a short amount of time. You would be so surprised at how much that she actually has for you. So I want you all to sit back, and I'm going to share this website with you right at the beginning. And I want you to go back and look at it again. There's two websites. You're going to go to the chantellesimone.com. You'll understand why I'm giving you this right now, because you need to know everything about this woman and how she can change your life greatly. And for you all that want tickets to go to Toronto, Canada, you're going to go to www.businesswealthsummit.com. And that's important. I'm going to go back and put both of those in the feed because they're important for you to have and some of the things that you need to know. So I hope everybody is ready. Make sure that you have your favorite beverage, because you're about to go on a ride that's going to change your life instantly. So Simone, I'm not trying to keep you from further ado, but everyone, please welcome and please give a grand thank you to Miss Chantelle Simone.
Well, Lester, thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful, warm introduction. It's just an honor and pleasure to meet people like you, that is just so fired up about life in general, and has constantly dedicated their life to being a teacher and a student simultaneously. So hats off to you for all that you have done. Your experiences are through the roof, and most people don't even know a fraction of what you've been through, and how great that you are. So I just love, connecting with beautiful souls like yourself, and anybody out there that mimics that, who wants to be able to learn, because you're never too old to learn, you're never too young to teach, and vice versa. So I'm just all about that. I'm all in support of, I call it elevated education, where we read in between the lines. We learn the things that aren't necessarily spoken about, calling out the elephant in the room, or getting to the real core of things so that we can have impactful change. So that's what I've dedicated my life to do in different capacities. And I just love sharing and being here with you, and just, seeing our tribe come together and rise. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So you're going to be in Toronto with us, and being on this
this panel, what are some of the things that you would love for the audience to learn about you, and why they're coming up to you just to get this change of spirit, this change of their minds, their mindset, and their mind shifting?
You know, a lot of people, they live a mundane life. And I like to say that because I had to get real with self at once upon a time. So I find that there's a lot of people that live in a space where they can go deeper to get more truth out of circumstances, including their life, starting with self. So, and one of the major things that attributed to my success, to all the successors before me, the gurus out there, all the successful, wealthy people. If we're talking about business, we're talking about wealth, we're talking about mindset. One of the key things is the state of mind. So those who I have the privilege of connecting with at the Business Wealth Summit, my sole single goal is to shift the way you think. Because every time you go to the next level, it's a new level of thinking. Because your current level of thinking has your life the way it is right now in your own circumstances. So if you want different, you have to be able to think different. So this is why I use the words, you can think your way to success. You can also, if you're going to go to a new level, you absolutely require a new level of thinking. So you have to shift your mind. I often use I love to drive. And, some say I drive like a Trinidadian, for some of those who know what that means. And so they used to call me NASCAR when I was in my teenage years.
Oh my goodness.
And so I use the analogy of a car and a stick shift. So I learned a stick shift when I was in my teenage years. And so I use the analogy of, pressing that clutch and shifting into that gear and going to a new level. You need to be able to press. There has to be some sort of transition. You need that clutch to get the gear into a new level or else you're going to stall. So to avoid you stalling in life, that clutch to me is that mindset shift. Once your mind is open to receive something new, so your life can have something new, then you can shift that gear into that wealth that you deserve, then you so desire, into that new business that feeds your mind, body, and soul, and you're not living a mundane life, into maybe it's even that next job, because there's a reason for the jobs that we have, that we go through, that we experience. It's just temporary in most cases. Not all, but most cases, your job, your job, is a temporary stepping stone to get you somewhere. Just a lot of us, since we don't know where that somewhere is, and we haven't taken the time to figure out what our passion, our purpose are, what ignites us from the inside, what is our God-given gifts and assignment. If we haven't taken the time to ponder that, then we don't really know what that next step is. So then, and a confused mind does nothing. So that's why we stay in jobs for 40 years that actually don't fuel our soul, and we're miserable every day, hitting the alarm clock, fighting traffic to go to a job that still doesn't fuel you, doesn't ignite you. That's not the purpose of life. That's not the point. So it's to be able to grow with maybe a certain skill set, or network with a certain type of people, or there's always a purpose. That's why my tagline is navigate on purpose, because there's a purpose for everything in your life. We just got to have the eyes to see and pay attention, and have the minds to be open, so that we can, there was a great saying that we got to see with our mind before we can see with our eyes.
Wow.
So that's so anyone that connects with me in the Business Wealth Summit, my sole goal, not only in life, but especially at the event, is to shift your thinking to prepare you for a new level of wealth, and a new level of business, and a new level of life fulfillment, because that's the point, and that's why we're here.
Mr. Gordon So is on with us also, right?
Hi, Gordon.
and
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Gordon. Thank you for organizing this event. I think it's the 9th year of the Business Wealth Summit, and I've attended a few of them in the past. Always great networking, always great people around you. And like they say, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And some of us really need to clean house and get a new 5. So attending events like this truly allows you to leverage and build amazing relationships with phenomenal people. We met through pretty much a networking event and circles in that networking event, and look at us right now. And the world hasn't even seen what we're about to do. So
no,
I encourage everybody to come out on the 14th and check us out.
One of the funniest things that I can actually talk about, which is really, really important, is that one of the main speakers that will be there is Mr. John Shin. John Shin is a guru, not just for the Think and Grow Rich world, but how about when you're learning from some of the masters in life, and you're going to be at this Business Wealth Summit because you have an opportunity to meet someone that it was an executive producer of the movie Think and Grow Rich. And I heard that you had an opportunity, Chantelle, to meet him in person. And what was that like for you?
Well, let me tell you. So when I met the few of you, when you guys came out to LA, being in LA, it's been just phenomenal. Mostly because of God, all because of God, quite frankly, and who He's put in my space and that I've had the privilege to meet. So it all started when we first reconnected at an event in, oh my goodness, when was it, in February, I believe?
Yes.
And I heard about John Shin at that time. I obviously know Think and Grow Rich, the book, and the legacy. I know 2 CEOs and founders of the Think and Grow Rich Foundation and of Think and Grow Rich Caribbean. So that's Satish and Rosetta. So I've had that opportunity, I've had that exposure, and I heard about the book, I heard the movie, pardon me, and Satish's story about the movie. So I've heard, and it's been great, but I didn't personally meet, or I've never gotten a chance to deep dive and see the depth behind Mr. John Shin. Until recently, when I went to an event here in Orange County and I got invited. It was a last minute thing, and sometimes in life, these last minute, spur of the moment, spontaneous things like, I don't know, but I'm going to make it happen. Those are some of the most life-shifting, impactful moments that we will ever have. So I welcome spontaneity, and I welcome the spirit more than anything. I check in. Is this something I need to be at? I don't know why, but I feel like I should go, so I'm going to cancel my day and I'm going to go. And so I met John Shin that day. And what I loved about meeting him is I've met a lot of, great gurus and successful people and millionaires and even billionaires. And, I've gone to a lot of events. They used to say, I was a seminar junkie. I was a sponge for knowledge. So I wanted to learn, and I wanted to learn early and fast. This was in my early 20s. And so I found that oftentimes there is a difference between somebody who presents on stage and presents well, and the persona they have on stage, and then when they come off the stage and you engage with them, it's like, who is this person?
Yes.
Were you the same person that just presented 10 minutes ago on the stage? Because I don't feel the same love, let's say, So I felt that, and what I loved about John Shin was he was funny, his authenticity, his heart, and his willingness to be able to share and make a difference. And I felt the same spirit on and off the stage, which is consistent, and it stands out for me. And I definitely look forward to be able to work with him in whichever capacity that God provides for us in the future. But people like that, you want to stay close to.
So those of you all that haven't got an opportunity to meet someone that's life-changing and to see the experiences that you can have. Now, Chantelle hasn't yet had a long discussion, but she also met one of the other major speakers at this event. And for those of you all that are out there in the world, you future speakers, you future networkers, you future mentor to millions, or should I say, Dr. James Dentley, you're about to meet someone who is so incredible. All of us believe in a mindset difference. And I met Dr. James Dentley about, I'd say about 8 years ago, if not even more than that. And he was one of those people, especially speaking and networking and just changing my life because of being out there on stage. He had an opportunity this year because one of his best friends, believe it or not, happens to be Les Brown. And it's not many of us out there that don't know who Les Brown is, but Les Brown is one of the top, I don't want to call him a motivational speakers, but he's an empowerment speaker that have changed lives. Dr. James Dentley is that same type of person. When you meet him, his way of thinking, his mindset, the growing process of this. And for you just had an opportunity, Chantelle, just to meet him just for a few moments. And it was so, you can hear him, how he talks and how he thinks, how real he is. So those of you all that are really looking for business, Dr. James Dentley wrote a book. It's called The 5 Frequencies. I believe that's correct. And he also is the founder of Mentor to Millions. You're talking about a millionaire who has taught millionaires, and he's gladly wants you to be a millionaire. So you have to come out and see that. He also is a master speaker. So these events that we're having in Toronto, Canada, and yes, for those of you all that don't know yet, I think I might actually be there doing something special just for you. But working with my partner here, Miss Chantelle, we always believe that you should always have a purpose in everything that you do and learning what your purpose is. So with her sitting on this expert panel, those of you all that want to come out to see how the importance of mindset, the importance of mind shifting, oh my goodness. I mean, I can tell you for sure, my mind has shifted just sitting there having these conversations. I've had an opportunity to do something greater than what I thought. And I want everybody to understand that no matter what world that you come from, no matter what you think that you've been working on in your entire life, that there are things that will always improve you. When you have an opportunity to come out to a Business Wealth Summit and to hear the speakers, to work with them, to network with them, and seeing some of these master experts, ooh, wait until you really see, the magic that Chantelle has. I mean, she is, to me, she's important. This is a person that leads by character. She is very transparent. And I'm just stepping all over the words that she could be basically teaching you right now, because her experiences are vast. You're talking about someone who has traveled so much in their life. They started out, being born in Canada, moving to the islands, and not just the islands that how about, the Caribbean islands, and how about Japan? Because you forget that that's an actual island. And now she lives in America. You have to take advantage of this woman. Listen to what she has to say here, because I want you to take notes. I want you to really take your time and take some notes, because meeting someone phenomenal, meeting someone that has this knowledge is something that you don't want to miss. As I now get back out of her way, because I need you to hear some more about her and some of the ideas that come out of this mind. This is a mind that you don't want to miss. And Chantelle, please share with us a little bit more. And I'll try to keep my mouth shut, because I'm just so excited that you're going to be there.
Okay, so it was a little bit choppy, some of the things that you were saying, but I was trying to see if I could share it with a few. So you wanted to share a little bit. What was the last part you wanted me to share a little bit more on?
Yes, just share some more ideas and thoughts.
Well, one of the key things I would say in life, like we talked about thinking differently, we talked about the greats, and one of the things, I'm a big supporter and encourager of, if we're going to launch something, if we're going to say something, we have to walk the walk and talk the talk. So I have my online programs where I really help people deep dive into their identity, who they are, their purpose, and so I obviously have walked through it myself and got totally congruent with who I was as an individual. And I've also had several people walk through it, even back in 2016. I've updated it since then, so recently. So one of the key things that I would share that actually helped me, and if it helped me, I pray that it blesses, the people that are watching, or catch this on the replay, or even catch me live at the event on May 14th, is that if you're in a situation where you feel that you're stuck or you're frustrated with your circumstances, if you feel that you might be in a business that is not satisfying to your soul, you might be jumping from business to business, opportunity to opportunity, maybe network marketing company to another company, you probably have experienced so much. And I find that there's something that we all look for in life. That's how we're designed. We were hardwired. And of course, you know, from the wonderful introduction, I study the brain. That's my area of expertise, is the mind more specifically. So we are all hardwired to be able to gravitate naturally to what our natural inclinations are, what our natural innateness is, who we are naturally. So even if you actually work at, let's say, a fast food restaurant like McDonald's, but you're an artist at the core of who you are, you just love to create, you will probably organize all the cups in a nice creative way for people to come. You're always going to be drawn to what you're naturally doing. So I find one of the biggest challenges is not only to find out what your purpose is, but to actually believe it.
Yes.
Because your belief system is everything. It's everything in life. Why we get stuck, and this big topic of mental health is gone rampant in our world nowadays, and why we actually have this cloudiness in our brain, and the effects of this cloud literally is keeping us behind. And why that is, it's because of our belief systems. We came onto this earth pure. We came here as a baby in one of the most purest forms ever. If you ask a child, they'll be able to tell you more closely what their purpose is and what their God assignment is, more than if you were to ask an adult who has had all these years of, I'm going to say, conditioning, right? Because we were taught these things, and when we accept it. So my whole thing is about accepting the beliefs that maybe other people put on you. Nobody said that you were ugly. Nobody, that God made you beautiful. Nobody said that God didn't think that you're not good enough. He would never create you to not be good enough. Where did that even come from? Who said that to you? When? And release it, because it's not you. So when we accept the beliefs of certain individuals, of society, and what is deemed right and what is deemed wrong, what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. Even women, you know, I don't know why this came up, but this just popped in my head. There's a lot of women that actually talk about who are getting older. They say, you know, the 30s is the new 20s and your 40s is the new 30s. And so even there's a lot more, you know, women empowerment, women, we can do it. And so I'm finding there's a lot more divorces. There's a lot more singleness out there. And even myself, I've gone through it myself. So, you know, there's even, and society puts on the pressure on women who say that they can't have kids. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's coming from somewhere, maybe somebody watching. And when we believe that, I had a friend that's very near and dear to me, and she was getting up there in age. She was getting closer to 40. She had a relationship, but at the same time, they weren't making it stick. They were just going through the motions. So they weren't advancing. And people kept telling her that you're getting older and you're not going to be able to have children. And they kept telling her to the point where it drove her to the hospital. She had to have an operation because she believed it.
Wow.
So it's the power of your belief system. And when you know who you are, and you know that you're walking in your God-given gifts and your God-given talents, you're on I call it a God assignment. When you are on purpose, all the extra chatter from friends, from family, from society, from your bosses, from your mates, from your children, from your teachers, whichever, all these extra conversations become irrelevant. And I can speak from experience, because there was a time where I was confused. And like I said, a confused mind does nothing. So when I got clarity in my purpose and my journey, all those haterations, all the extra conversations, all the people that smile in your face and say stuff behind your back, that you can't stop me. I'm on a God mission. You think that's going to stop me? You know, and it's my belief system. I truly
Mm-hmm.
believe that I'm unstoppable because I'm on purpose. There's nothing that's going to get in my way. Sure, there's going to be challenges. Sure, there's going to be hurdles, but I embrace them. I see the purpose of them. I give myself a time limit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we may want to have pity parties at a time, you know, maybe get a tub of ice cream and I'll be on the phone with a girlfriend and just, you know, veg out. No problem. Give yourself a time limit. Because what often happens is because we hear like motivational speaking, it's gone, you know, viral and there's all these greats. We hear all of these positive reinforcements, the books that we read.
Mm-hmm.
What I find is some of the biggest disconnection is the disconnection from what we hear and what we read and what we retain in our mind and it going to our heart and us actually applying it.
Mm.
So when you go through something, yes, we must think positive, and yes, we must turn the page and move on. But if we don't address it, I call it sweeping it under the rug. And some of us have hills under that rug, okay, that we keep bumping into.
Wow.
So it's about addressing those hills. Give yourself a time limit. Be real. Be real with your feelings. Be real with your intuition. Be real with what you're experiencing. And because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can tell you that you should feel this way, you should feel that way, because you're authentic to your own feelings. Be real and address it at the root. Because when you address it, then it eliminates it so that you can move on. But often in time, you put a Band-Aid on it and say, it's okay, I'll be fine, I'm strong, I got this, and move on. And we're and deep down behind closed doors, we're weeping and we're a basket case.
Why do you think that we become in that particular area, that basket case? And if anyone has any questions for Simone, please just type them in the comment line for me because it's important. But why do you think that we become in that area, that we get to that basket case area?
I believe that there's a large majority of people that suffer on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They suffer alone. I believe there is a large majority of people that don't want to show their authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also a large majority of people that don't understand why we go through the problems. So we just beat ourselves up and we think about it over and over. And every single time we think about that negative situation, we're reinforcing it. Up to 68% of our brain matter, we're reinforcing it and reinforcing it. And it's causing us to live in that. Depression is not a disease. It's a state of mind, right? So all these PSD, what is it? PSD, oh my gosh, post-traumatic PTSD. There we go. A lot of the PTSD, the trauma, depression, all of these is just a constant negative reinforcement of a negative state of mind. Mm-hmm. We have up to 90,000 thoughts a day. How many are directed to what we want? We have, on top of that, we repeat the same thoughts up to 85% a day. So that means if we're thinking negative yesterday, we're thinking the same negative thoughts today, and we'll think the same negative thoughts tomorrow. So we keep reinforcing and reinforcing and reinforcing. And if we don't address it, we don't understand it, we don't release it, give it to God, give him the glory, find the learnings and why it happens. If we don't take time for that, work with someone one-on-one, reach out to coaches or reach out to speakers or trainers or people that you resonate with to get help to be able to overcome that hurdle. If we avoid that, then we live in it and we let it linger. And then as you know, cancer, we all have cancer cells in us, but it's the people that catch cancer too late in the game where it's activated all throughout our body. That's why it kills us. You know, if we catch it early, we can overcome it. You know, so there's so many things that if we just were to be real, and we're living in a world where there's this facade, and with all due respect for all those in LA, you know, in California, it's even more so here. So there's just like this imaginary world of where we just want to be, because we want to forget all of our problems and live this beautiful life. Facebook and social media fosters that, you know, and everybody thinks of, oh, all these successful people, they have these cars and these, but nobody gets real with, hey, I was living in depression for 5 years, but I got help, and that's how I got my successes. You know, it's those who actually take the time to address the things that are going on with them as fast as you can. I do my best to do it immediately. If I feel a certain way about a situation or about a person or about something I said or didn't say, I take time out to address it immediately so that it doesn't fester and start to cause brain damage, because that's what it does. It's brain damage. But our minds can fix that. Our minds control our brains. Our minds can heal our brains. But if you don't know how to master your mind, if you don't understand the power of your thoughts, the power of your words, if people don't understand these things, Lester, it's just going to take us longer. That's why I'm here, and many others before me, and there'll be many after me. But that's why I'm here to share that, so that we cannot live in that rut. We're not meant to live in that rut. Get out of your ruts. Get help, understand why, and then move on in a free, powerful way, so that, and you know, we talk about personal power. Personal power is when you can control your attitude, your mindset, your circumstances. You have the control to heal your own mind. Medication is not going to do that for you. It actually, in most of the cases, it has the adverse effects, and it causes side effects in other areas. So if we have the power within, without seeing any doctors or any other, you know, people who would give us things to ingest and things like that, if we have the power within ourselves, then why not just learn how to tap into that power? Because everybody, all the gurus, they've been talking about it for years. It's in all these books. I just find that, you know, my mission is to be the bridge to translate what is said in these books and these motivational speeches, to translate it into the action, because there's a disconnect. We hear it, think positive, but what does that mean? We hear, you know, wake up early and attack your day and have a great attitude. But what if I don't feel like I'm in a great attitude? Now what? What if I feel lousy? What, am I going to fake it? So I want to be the bridge to be able to help people get there.
Listen, and I want everybody to understand that you're getting a grand lesson right now. Miss Chantelle Simone is giving you a grand lesson. What do you think that you will learn when you come to the Business Wealth Summit? If you think you're picking up a lot right now, I'm here to tell you that she hasn't even got to the tip of the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. She has so much inside of her, and we're talking, when you want to see, you're coming to hear speakers, you're coming to hear how to transform your life, how to move it into a greater area than you've ever been before. But yet you're going to hear them, and you get the chance to listen to speakers, and, or should say, a panel of experts who will help you to, as I love how Chantelle tells this story, how to deep dive into who you really are and the purpose of why you're there. So I don't want you to miss it on Tuesday, May 14th at Toronto. And I think Mr. Gordon So is going to make sure that he writes down in here the place that it's going to be. I forget the name, and please forgive me. I'll make sure that that information goes inside of your comment line so you can go back. Don't miss it, because when you look at the things that you've missed in your lifetime and why you are where you are, it's because of your thinking. What you thought 5 years ago is why you're in today's place. It has nothing to do with what your thinking was today. What you were thinking of and where you were 5 years ago it performs the new way of the way that you're thinking. What do you want 5 years from now? Or what do you want tomorrow? Because you can change your state of mind in just a moment. You're listening to Chantelle, and she's giving you so much great information, and that's here and now. What do you think that you will learn when you meet her in Toronto? What is that thing that you're looking for? Because we all have that thing. What is it that you would like to learn? And how can she help you? And I'm just letting her have true free reign because the information that she's given me has worked for me. I don't know how many thousands of other people that she's talked to, but for me, my mindset, and after being a police officer for entirely too many years, you can tell where my mind was once. And now it has changed. And I'm so happy with it because I've learned in order to be the person that you are, you have to surround yourself with people who will lift you up. And not just lift you up, but change your mindset to change you into a greater mind shift. In the book Think and Grow Rich, we talk about having a mastermind group and having that a mastermind alliance. We talk about the positive thinking and the negative thinking because we know you can't have a positive and negative thought at the same time. But what you feed yourself, what you tell yourself all the time, what you read, what you decide that you want to do is where you're going to be. But how do you change any of that? We often talk about having a desire and what is your desire in life and how do you build that bridge? You talking about if you want to really hear what this person has got to say, I keep like loving to, I have to interrupt her because if I don't, she'll give away almost 1% of everything that she knows. She is so good at that thing that you've been looking for. This is the person that you have to stay connected with. You're not talking about just to come out and see something for a few minutes and walk away with nothing. What do you do when the party is over, when the motivation is gone? You need to have your mind in the right place. Do you agree?
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. All the time. It's work and it's effort, you know, until it becomes habitual. But if you want to switch it, it's conscious, focused effort to be able to be mindful of what you're thinking.
Shireen Francis is on here and she says she can't wait to hear you speak.
Oh, hi, Shireen. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm excited. You guys are been doing an awesome job with this Business Wealth Summit, and I'm very excited to be able to connect with the folks out there and to really just make a positive impact. Because I know Shireen's heart and Gordon's heart and yours heart and the two speakers, guest speakers, Mr. James Dentley and John Shen. I mean, I had the privilege of meeting all of you guys, and I know that we are aligned. So when so many people that are aligned at a higher level, we shift the entire atmosphere. So you can't help by coming to that event and stepping into that atmosphere, you're changed. And so I just encourage each and every one of you to come with an open mind and be prepared. Come with expectations of change. If you don't expect to change, you won't. But if you come with an expectation that somebody there, whether it be myself or one of the keynotes or even someone in the audience, somebody there can shift your mind and shift your life. Are you ready is the question. If you are, then just get your ticket and show up and we'll show out through God.
I thank you. I know that you have a busy schedule and we've talked a little bit longer. I want you all to make sure that you come out to the Tuesday, May 14th, to the Business Wealth Summit. There may be a few VIP tickets left, and they're currently for $97. The actual price is $197, and that's for you all that want to be by the VIP table, to want to get to meet and learn and have these coaches sessions after the speakers speak. Because when you're ready for a thing, when you are ready for, if thoughts are things, and we want to see really what are you thinking, what are you really thinking, and we want to make sure that you have the greatest experience. The value of the VIP ticket is actually lower. If I had an opportunity, I'd raise the price because I understand when you pay for something, you pay attention. For those of you all that have been on the fence and waiting to be a part of something that's very special, this event is not for those of us that are part of it. It is for you. This event is actually for you. Those of you all that are coming from the U.S., and we're talking from the U.S. to go to Canada, the experience that you will have, because I've been there several times, is an enlightening experience. It changed my life, and it will change your life. And I guarantee it will change your life for the better. So I really thank you, Chantelle, for coming on with us. You have been a great delight. You have been encouraging. You've given us a new way of thinking just in talking in this short session. So we're going to have to come back and do another talk because we want to really start seeing our purpose, what's in our minds, what's in our hearts, what's in our spirit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. And on behalf of Mr. Gordon Soul and Miss Shereen Francis and myself, I can't wait till the next time. And we're going to be doing podcasts on these things. So expect to hear our podcast coming up. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's been my pleasure, Lester. Thank you guys so much for having me and hosting me and just giving us a platform to share our gift, to share what's inside, to share what God has passed on to us and through us to all those who are looking for something different. And so at the summit itself, I'm going to break down how your wealth is in your gift and what that actually means. And so for all of those who are attending, they're in business, you're seeking wealth, I will be able to break that down for you and show you how important above all things is to truly know who you are and live in your true identity. So it's a phenomenal thing. It's an enlightening experience, and I can't wait to break that down for you at the Business Wealth Summit. Thank you so much, Lester, for having me. Thank you for all the hearts and all the likes. I see you there, Gordon. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to sharing more and giving you some more juice at the Business Wealth Summit in May 14th in Toronto. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you all, everyone. And as Zig Ziglar once stated, see you at the top, or actually over the top. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Hello, everyone. Hope you can see me here. It looks like I got a shadow. I may need to have added some light or what have you. How are you? I want to turn around and tell you today is one of those nice days. It's the day after Thanksgiving. And what did you do on your day after Thanksgiving? How have you started your day and what's going on with it? I'm going to have a good day. I've decided today is going to be the day that I'm going to talk about something that's really special to a whole bunch of people. And it is actually the day that I would like to talk about no excuses. How about that? No excuses is going to be what I'm going to have today. And one of the greatest things about it is, imagine each one of you all came out and had Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. And while you were having your beautiful Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, what did you decide that you were going to do today? How are you going to change your life today from the things that you've been doing? I want to turn around and talk. Both of us are going to talk to you about no more excuses. We don't like them, we don't want them, and we want to see how you're going to work these excuses that you've had out. Hello, Miss Natalie.
Hello, Lester.
How
How
are
are you? Happy Thanksgiving. Well, happy the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
How are you?
Everyone, this is Natalie Cousins. And Natalie and I, we were having a conversation, and we want to invite you into this conversation that we were having. And it's all about giving up your excuses. That's what it is. It's about giving up your excuses. We looked at and saw we have one major thing in common. We don't like people using excuses for all of those things that they cannot do.
Yes.
And we were looking at exercising. And yes, exercising right after the day of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Could you imagine that you all would tell yourselves, I need to exercise. I need to get started doing something. So what have you decided to do on your exercise track, your exercise thing today? Your views of how you can do something and where you can go with it.
Right.
And I'm going to set this up on my treadmill. How about that? I actually, for those of you all that don't understand this, I'm going to show you in just a second as soon as I can find out where my face is in this doggone thing. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you all that I have. Okay, it's not showing.
Yeah, I could see it a little bit. I could see it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my treadmill. And here is a question that we often have with each other.
and always the biggest thing, and I'm gonna put my earpiece in. Why are you holding back from the things that you know you need to do?
Yes.
What are some of the most important parts that you have seen and to discuss the saying, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to lose some.
It's a little bit choppy.
Come through. Let me try that out again. Okay, my earpiece doesn't want to work.
Okay. We have a doorbell ringing here as well. This is a sporadic, spur of the moment type thing, guys. We just needed to get this conversation out. And let me just see what's going on here. Oh, jeez. Self-employment life. It's Freedom Friday, guys. We get to do what we want to do. All right,
Have you ever had a job that you all out there, and you went to a job and you've always talked about you don't want to go to it?
Yes.
I remember I was listening to Les Brown, and Les Brown said something to me that was kind of funny. He said, do you know when most people have heart attacks? He said according to research, the day most people have heart attacks is on Monday morning in their very first hour of work.
Really?
Right. Why? Because people don't want to be there and they don't want to do it.
Right.
So those of you all that have been interested in becoming an entrepreneur, what kind of steps have you taken in order to do that?
Right. And here's
Go ahead.
the thing about it is that there's so many people complaining. Like the common notion that I've heard is, I can't start my business. I can't find the clients. I don't have the time. I hate my job. What are the things you've heard? Because I've heard so many excuses in 2018. Those are the ones I paid attention to, let alone the years before. What really got me upset is the fact that they were all excuses. They weren't things like, what can I do to improve? You know what I'm saying?
It's always a question. What can I do? And you found the thing that you wanted to do most is nothing.
Right. Well, that's what they can easily commit to.
I can commit to doing nothing. I can do nothing all day long. But what type of, and I'll put it up here, results do you have from the things that you have been doing?
Right. And so here's the thing. You're retired now. You've had some time to really look into, how do you want to wake up each day? Because for a while it wasn't that you didn't like being in the force. It was you did what you had to do. Now you're retired. Now you can do things that you extremely passionately love, right? Because there's a difference. You do what you got to do, or you do what you love waking up and doing every day. But once you no longer have to do that, I'm big on finding your purpose. And so, a lot of people would say to me, well, I can't get a job because I have is it called a felony over there? I have a felony.
Yes.
Okay,
just wait a minute, just before you get too far. Natalie happens to be in Toronto, Canada, and I am in Phoenix, Arizona.
Right.
So you all understand that this conversation is happening in two different places, and yet we're on the same accord.
Yes.
now go ahead.
So, I've lived in the U.S. Let's say that. I've lived in the U.S. And, they say that, the U.S. is the land of opportunity. And then people will say to me, why would you leave Toronto for the U.S.? Or, I'll be in the U.S. and they'll be like, well, I want to move to Toronto. And so I wanted to share this with everybody in terms of where we talk about no excuses. I had no excuse but to get off my butt and make a name for myself, make money for myself, be able to take care of my kids. In the countries that we live in, and I can speak because I used to feel that Toronto had nothing to offer me. And then I had to go to the US, and the US made me grow up. Okay. And so there are tons of people who are saying, I can't find a job. no one wants to hire me. You know, I have a criminal record and all of this stuff. And then I got to thinking about it when speaking to you, and I'm like, how can somebody say that they cannot find a job or they can't do anything or whatever when we have multi-level marketing? Okay.
Oh, you talking about network marketing?
Network marketing. Okay.
People think that that's a taboo. Why would you think that some of the most successful people in life will be doing something as into, have you ever heard of a McDonald's?
Yeah.
How about most companies, just in case you don't know, they're a network marketing company.
That's right. And so we look at people who own a franchise of McDonald's and they're saying, well, he had money, he had to invest, and so on and so forth. Well, 9 times out of 10, you've got to invest into something. You want an education, you got to invest. You want to learn something, you got to invest. You know, there are countries, my parents are from Jamaica, kids in primary school you have to pay to send your kids to school. In Canada and the US, we are fortunate enough that the taxpayers' money sends our kids to elementary school. But in other countries, we have to pay out of our pocket for it. And so I looked at my coach. I've looked at a lot of people who have helped me, and they didn't even have a high school diploma, but they are multi-millionaires. They might have had a felony or a misdemeanor. They are multi-millionaires. So my question is, for the person who's making up all these excuses, is what's stopping you? So it could be one of 2 things. You don't have a vision or a goal to really see where it is that you want to go. You're around a bunch of naysayers who they're not going anywhere. And quite frankly, I had a friend who said to me, you know, you are guilty by association. So if you're hanging around people who don't equate to nothing or think that they're nothing, it eventually rubs off on you. And so, you know, you've been motivating me because when you show your iWatch every morning with your steps on it, and Kathy shows it and stuff like that. And, you know, that's one of my main goals next year, is to really walk for strength, really walk for purpose, really walk for passion, and most importantly, really walk for health. But it got me thinking, there's tons of people out there who are looking for the sorry flag. Feel sorry for me. You know, help me. I've had a couple of people come to me this year about bartering services. No, I can't barter services with you because I have a responsibility. I have children, and, you know, I can't tell children's services when they knock my door because I can't take care of my children while I bartered services. If you really want something, it's going to take for you to do time and dedication. And so multi-level marketing for most people, find what you love. You can't get a job because you have a felony. You got fired from your last job, so you don't have any reference. Look at another stream of income, something that you love, right? Because it has to be something that you're passionate about. Something where you can understand the numbers and the systems of how it works. But my God, research it now. We're a couple of weeks away from 2019. Do we want to continuously have the same cycle? And so that's why I wanted to talk to you about this.
Well, see, what got me interested in network marketing first was I needed to change my health.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine, you all, and some of you all have heard of him, some of you all haven't. His name is James Denley. I met James when James was well over 300 pounds, okay? And James decided that he needed to change his life. And we talked about, you know, the no excuses. So he needed to change his life. James had sarcoidosis. He also had a form of cancer. I keep forgetting which form of cancer he had. And he knew he had needed to lose weight.
Yes.
So James decided that he wanted to make a change. Now, understand everybody that's in here, and then everybody's story is going to be a little bit different. But James's story is that once in his life he had, of course, been homeless. He actually lived in his car. And I know some of you all can identify, what would you do if you had to live in your car? Would you get into a company when you have no other way out?
Right.
And most of you all have some way out, but you use an excuse of, I can't do this because I don't have any time, or I don't want to do anything particular. But what if you have the time, but you don't have no money? What are you doing to change this? So James decided he's going to get in this company. He was going to start to lose some weight. And James lost approximately 140 pounds.
Wow.
And due to this company that he got into, he not only lost the pounds, but he is now cancer-free.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Now, mind you, I'm not saying that result would happen for everyone, but he became cancer-free. So it made me interested. If you can get in a company and you can lose some weight and you can lose this cancer and you can lose the problems you were having with sarcoidosis and sleep apnea, that's the other one that he had, sleep apnea. Why would I not take time out to find out what type of thing is he doing?
Right.
I mean, I was like the rest of everybody. I had a good Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I ate well.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I looked at myself and I had to make sure that I started losing weight. So last year, I'm going to tell everybody, last year at the end of November, I started getting the symptoms. This one fly is getting on my nerve.
And while it's cold here, so just enjoy it.
But I had, I was on track to getting diabetes, and I found out officially December 1st, 2017, that I had diabetes.
Wow.
So I knew I had to get on some type of program. So I spoke with James so that I would learn to do the things that he was doing. I was 220 pounds, and now I'm down to a nice, safe 175 pounds.
Wow.
And I got on my own exercise program because I wasn't exercising like I was supposed to. And I looked back and said, what are some of the things that I have to do to make sure that I stay on top of what I wanted? And if I can make a business out of it also, hey, that means that's 2 + 1.
Mm-hmm.
I had been doing this business and I did it in and out because I wasn't really interested and I didn't understand the importance. If I would have understood the importance, James made $4 million from this same company that I'm talking about.
Right.
$4 million. Could you imagine somebody telling you that you can make $4 million? Most of us would be happy if we can make an extra $1,000.
That's right.
Yet alone $4 million. And he's not done it for 1 year. He's been doing this for 5 years.
Yes.
5 consecutive years.
Yes.
So I have to ask them, like anybody should, if you want to do something, what do you need to do in order to change your life, in order to get to do something extra special? And then I met Natalie as of June of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I were just having a conversation, just a regular conversation. And Natalie told me she once had
high blood pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell people about that.
Yeah. So I had always had weight fluctuation issues, but I kept having these chest pains. And when I went to the doctor, they were like, oh my God, you have high blood pressure. And they proceeded to prescribe me a bunch of pills. And with these pills came hair loss. With these pills came outbreak on my face, what I felt was depression. And so I also had motivation because I was getting married and I was like, okay, I can't be stepping into a new chapter in my life, overweight, high blood pressure, and all this stuff. And so I got on my own plan. I researched what causes high blood pressure. And then I went and I did reverse engineering on the foods that I was eating and how I ate them. Exercise has always been a struggle for me, but what cured my high blood pressure, plus I had anemia, or I was low in iron and things like that. And so just through my own, just like how you put yourself on your own exercise plan, I put myself on my own meal plan. And then someone introduced to me a vitamin that was liquid, that was more absorption. The absorption rate was very high and things like that. And so I just started researching online, looking at what people were doing, contacting them. Can I tell you that every single time that I go into the doctor, it doesn't even have to be an appointment for me. It could be a checkup for my kids. The doctor's always saying, come, let's check your blood pressure, because I just don't understand how you got rid of this. Like, what did you do? So on and so forth. And so couple of things. When enough is enough for you, you're going to make that major decision to not have any excuses anymore. That's the first thing. The second thing is it is going to have to take some people, maybe not you or I. For me, it was, I don't know about you, but not for everyone, but there has to be a drastic issue or situation that happens in your life for you to be able to change. So I'm going to give you some examples outside of health. You've been in a relationship or a marriage for years. Finally, one person ups and decides that they're going to leave. The other partner who is threatened by that, that will be the most that you'll see that person improve on what it is that they need to do to try to keep the person. Your professor says that you're on the verge of failing. That is when you start buckling up and finding people and study partners at the last minute to try to save this grade. Okay? I knew I needed to be married at a specific date was the wedding date. I knew I needed to lose a certain amount of pounds and fit into a specific dress, and I did it. So I think that for a lot of you who make excuses, okay, it is because you have not had that aha moment in your life. Nothing has necessarily come to you to say, you better wake up or you better improve. So you think time is on your side. But what happened to me was one day, enough was enough. I was tired of the repetitive behavior. I was tired of not being accomplished. I was tired of doing a lot more talk and zero action. And that's why today I'm so persistent with the things that I do. And it is no longer about what a person thinks about me, but it's more of what am I doing to improve and to continue to improve myself. And so you said we met in June. We met in June for a very serious reason. Okay, I think that the co-partners for us, we realized that there were a lot of people who, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. There were a lot of people who had a lot of repetitive behavior, but they needed to be personally developed. And so we came together as co-partners to be able to start the Professional Development Freak group, where we actually share our stories, read powerful books, empowerment books, or empowering books that help people to get motivated. And plus we provide them with formulas to be able to shift their minds, to shift how they do things and to get consistent with what it is that they really want out of life. And I think that that's the key thing that people need to understand is once you've made that song goes, I've got my mind made up, right? So once you have your mind made up, there's nothing stopping you. But some people need, just like if it's really cold outside today, some people need a boost or they need that extra kick, right? To be able to get them going. And I think that we're just here to help is really what it is.
So here's the question we're going to ask everyone. What is your excuse not to lose the weight that you have? What is the excuse that you have in not starting your own business? Because one of the craziest things people do, they say that they'll go get 2 and 3 extra jobs, giving up extra time, stating that they want to get some more money.
Right.
But when someone gives them an opportunity to get into their own little networking business, and we're not talking about just the one that we have found that we shared together, and that was by accident.
Yeah, really by accident.
What happens if you get into a company and that you start making a little bit, you start learning to become that entrepreneur, because this is a lot of practice. In order to do something, most businesses will cost you thousands of dollars. We're talking almost $50,000 and up in order to get to anybody's franchise.
Well, more than that now.
And yet if you got into network marketing, it'll never cost you anywhere near that. And yet you have the same yeses and nos that you have in any other business.
Yeah. I think they need to look at where they were last year. You talked about Thanksgiving. I'm thankful, our Thanksgiving in Canada was October, but are you in the same place that you were last year? Are you in a better place or are you in a worser place, if that's a word?
There's no such word.
No such word, but we're going to make it.
Thing.
Yeah. And we would need to hear from you guys because we don't know what's going on in your lives. But, based off yesterday and all that eating and all that stuff, everyone starts waking up this morning. All I saw on my timeline was, I ate so much food. I got to start detoxing and dieting. And I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. A lot of talk and no action.
So if you want to detox, or you want to lose some weight, or you want to be in business, you can talk to us about anything, because we're actually in the business of personal development,
Yes.
personal growth, and changing your mindset. Because we have found out that as you're growing in life, you need people to assist you. Now, it's funny, when we started getting together, I mean, like today, this was not one of those, oh, this is what we're going to talk about. We looked up and said, no excuses for the things that you always want.
Yes.
If you still find yourself today doing the same thing that you were doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you thought that you were going to have different results, you have found out that that was a lie.
Yes.
You have found out you got 18,400 seconds a day in order to change your life. What were you doing with your seconds? What decisions are you making right now that it can change your life? I know you want to listen to this and it's like, oh, they're just trying to get me into something. No, they're trying to get you to get up off your behind and do something more than you have been doing. Stop giving yourself excuses why you haven't done it. It's easy to give an excuse. Everybody out here has an excuse for the reason that they didn't do something.
That's right.
But I was once told a long time ago, and that is, you are now where you are because of where you were 5 years ago.
It's just like real
5 years
estate.
ago, you plan to be in the state
That's
that
right.
you're in now.
That's right. Because they say, when's the best time to buy real estate? And I'm
You
like,
look at
5 years ago.
and yet you're talking to someone who teaches about real estate. This is what she does. I mean, she's in it, and you're not talking about just in Canada, but in the United States also.
Yeah.
Come on, people, wake up.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get in alignment with your assignment. You have to start doing things for yourself and stop talking about, I'm going to, when this day is over, when the or when the night comes, or on the seventh moon or the third star. What are you really doing?
Do you want me to tell you something,
Now
Lester? Let me say this.
What's
This
that?
is just coming to my mind. I was having a conversation with a financial coach this morning. She primarily focuses on women. But at the end of the day, I was just saying to her that look at your finances from couple's perspective, a mom perspective, a father perspective. Really, it's not gender related at this point. But what has been happening is there are a lot of people. So when people coach with me, even though I'm not a financial advisor, because I'm so big on visualization, I'll say to them, calculate for me your monthly bills. So I would say to you, calculate your monthly bills. And don't include the fact that your wife pays for something and you pay for something. Just tell me, what are the total household bills? And a lot of times people cannot tell me that. Well, my husband pays certain bills, or my wife handles that bill. And so they never really hone down on the bigger picture. And I find that when we say to somebody, what is the one thing that you want to change? What is the one thing that you want to improve on? The first thing that they do is say finances. Okay? But we don't know why. We don't know why, because they're out of 10 people that you'll speak to, 1, maybe 2 will know what their yearly expenses are. It's not known. So the reason why we have a lot of people making excuses, or a lot of people trying to say it can't be done, or I can't own a business, is because they don't have the mindset to look at how to run something or how to operate it, because they can't even run or operate their own lives and their own finances. And so through personal development, through looking in and honing in on big picture. So you know how we talk about in our group, visualization and the things that we want, and we talk about building the desire statement. And the desire statement says, what do you want to do with this money when you acquire it? And what are you going to do to give back? Do you know that the number one reason why most people cannot complete their desire statements is because they have no idea what they want? They're not emotionally attached to nothing. And they're so full of fear, that the fear of numbers, and that they can actually accumulate this stuff, that they would look at you or I, who makes $1 million a year, for argument's sake, and will say, oh, Lester's lucky. He's a lucky guy. He's just been dealt the great cards. Look, he's retired. He's moved to Arizona. People will look at that and say, you're a lucky guy. But they would never look at it and say, you know what? This is a guy who went for what he wanted. This is a guy who sat down, planned out, mapped out, did what he needed to do, and had a plan in order to succeed, and had a definite chief aim in life. And that is majority of society. Majority. I just wanted to say that.
You know, one of the other things that I found out is people use the F word the most. And today's F word for most of people are fear. How about when you look at where your fears are and what do you decide upon? What are you actually afraid of? Les Brown once told me, and I love this quote, fear and faith begin with the letter F. And they both have the same qualities. They're both you're both walking by what? By what you have never seen before. Either you're afraid of it because you've never seen it before, or you have faith and belief in it, in something that you've never seen before, and you'll do it.
Yes.
It's either your fear or your faith will carry you to where you want. How about you? Where do you see yourself in your life? Do you care about your faith, or do you care more about your fear? You have to overcome that. The time is now.
Yes.
I love that statement. I love when you tell people that, because the time is now for everybody to make a decision of what you want and where you want to go. How are you going to use it? Are you going to be the person that says, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, but yet the only way that you're losing 10 pounds is you sit at your table and eat more? Are you going to be the person that gets up and walks every day? I mean, yes, I get up and walk every day because I wanted a healthier life. I wanted to find out what could help me to get to a healthier life other than just eating. And understand, I love eating as much as everybody else. I got the same weaknesses that most people have, but yet I had to make a decision about where I want to be in life. So, you know, when we're asking you about, you know, if you're interested in losing weight, if you're interested or in making money, or you're interested in personal development, the two of us will gladly help you at any point in time. We'll have conversations with you, because when you really want to do something and you're ready to get through with excuses, and what's the one thing that we always talk about? What's the reason why most people don't do anything? Is that big old P word we talk about all the time. It starts out with procrastination.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the biggest sin.
Procrastination get you? Yes.
Procrastination is the number one thing that's backed behind fear. And I'll share that story with everyone. I used to put on my resume, one of my biggest strengths was I work well under pressure. I would consistently highlight that underneath my resume. I work well under pressure. I work well under pressure. And then I was working with a real estate agent at the time. And she said to me, Natalie, I love you to death. You're the sweetest person. You have great customer service. You have all these things, but I'm looking for somebody who is proactive and not reactive. And, you know, most people would have received that and said, oh my God, what a grumpy woman. And da, 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 da. And I anytime that someone says something to me, I always evaluate it for what it's worth. And I was like, I'm glad she actually told me that, because here I thought a strength was working well under pressure. And really, if I worked ahead of my deals, if I worked ahead of certain things, I would no longer be putting out fires, right? I would be able to see these things happening ahead of time, so on and so forth. And so, guys, procrastination will have you 5 years from now sitting down, evaluating, because we talk about self-evaluation, and we will be saying we shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we didn't. And so time isn't waiting for anyone, right? As somebody is being born, another person is passing away, unfortunately. And the world just goes around. It doesn't matter what country you go to, okay, whether the language is different or anything like that. 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. 1 take away 1 is always going to be 0. And so what that should tell you is, ain't nobody waiting on you to improve. It's got to be you that decides, this is what I'm going to do. And yes, the time is now to make that improvement. And so that's what we're here for.
So we're glad for everyone that is doing nothing. How about that? If you're doing nothing and that's exactly what you want to do, continue doing it.
Yes.
We're not here to get you to stop doing nothing. What we are here for is if you decide that you want to make a change in your life, be a part of someone's own thing. If you want to be that entrepreneur, there are many network marketing companies out here. And I'm not going to just talk about one. There are many of them out here. If you want to be in real estate, there are many people who get out and start, but what type of coach do you have? In order to succeed anywhere that you want to succeed, you must have a coach.
Yes.
Because you want to know why people fail in business, why people fail in losing weight, why people fail in most things. It's all because they don't have a coach.
Yes. Yes.
You need somebody that's going to keep you accountable for the things that you want to do. And that's important. We have found out that we work well together. And understand, I'm going to tell you all a little secret here. Natalie and I have never seen each other in person.
No.
We talk to each other over Facebook all the time. But that's the way that when you're finding out a coach and somebody's going to hold you accountable for what you want to do, where you want to go, and how you want to do something, get involved with people. I'm here to help you. Natalie is here to help you. And we have so many other people who are actually ready, willing, and able, but you must participate in your own rescue.
Yes, yes, most definitely. And so tell them about the personal development group. I got invited into this group, guys, but I'm telling you, since collaborating with these guys since June, what are we on? The fifth round of thinking, fifth wave of reading Think and Grow Rich. It is a personal development group. We do pick different books to read from time to time, but our main book is Think and Grow Rich. And I want to tell you guys that everyone that I speak to says, oh yeah, I've read that book before. And I'm like, great, but have you applied the principles of what the book tells you? See, I had this book since 2011 to be exact. And I've read the book maybe once, skimmed it through twice. I've had the audiobook. But I thank God for the connection of being in the personal development group, because we started on June 10th. Today is November what? 23rd. And each and every time that I read the book and apply the principles since June, I have elevated one step higher each time. The testimony is I named out my 4 quarters for the year. Resilient, the last quarter would be dominant. I would become courageous in the quarter before this. And I forget what the other one was, but it's basically what I want to say is it manifested out for what it needed to be. And Think and Grow Rich. Had I not applied the principles, I probably wouldn't have been able to speak here. I probably wouldn't have lasted in the group as long. See, guys, the problem is that we are all reading, right? We're all reading. There are people who have read thousands of books, thousands and thousands of books people have read. But here, look, Gordon saying he wants to jump in. Me too, Gordon. So, yes, thousands and thousands of books we have read, but we have not applied the principles behind the book. And I'm going to say this. In the book, it talks about, acquiring specialized knowledge. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars to go to school for interior design. And right now, for somebody to hire me for interior design, it's a specific room and it's a specific style. But for me to come and coach, or for me to come and help, or for me to come and speak, I've learned that over time and through investing, smaller investments than I did in interior design. And I'm the most happiest person walking, living, and serving in my purpose, all because I apply the principles of this book to my life on a daily basis. And so let's try to invite them to the group. For those people who are watching who know Lester, you might not know me, but we have a wonderful personal development group where we have a book club where we read the books by the help of Lester and our co-partners. Gordon's on here right now. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't get through the book as quickly as I do. And at the end of the day, what are we on now? What chapter? We're on chapter...
Oh, we're on chapter 12
tomorrow. But it doesn't matter because everything's already in there. Right. Persistence, one of my favorite chapters.
Right.
So many of them. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you get in. And we also have a personal development booklet, which helps you to, I found what it helps me do is to really write out my decisions and my desires. Kathy's saying it's a pleasure to meet us. She's learned so much different each time that she reads. So guys, it is wave 5, but we still keep on going and growing. That's the whole thing. And every time Lester and them read the chapter, I was like, wait, let me go back and look at what he just said, because I don't remember catching that. And so personal development group, you're going to want to send us a direct message and say that you want to be a part of this community. We'll go ahead and add you. That's the first thing. And Lester, I would love it if we could do some treadmill chronicles. So I've dedicated myself to working out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And because I work from home and I've got the kids here, sometimes I find that I've been doing Facebook Lives now, walking on my treadmill. So will you be my partner while we set up some dates and do treadmill chronicles? Yes. Yes.
Yes, I will be doing that treadmill that you all see right there.
Yes.
Because I love exercising. Here, before we get off, and I'm going to say this real quickly. If you all have never seen the book Think and Grow Rich, and you think that it's only about money, it is not only about money. It's actually much more and deeper than that. So as we're asking you to join our particular group, it's because you want to change in your life. What are some of the changes that you want in your life? We've stated at the beginning of this, and we'll say it again. One of the biggest things that you can ever do is to change your life on purpose. If you're looking to start your own business, we'll teach you how to start your own business. If you want to turn around and start losing weight and have an accountability partner, hey, we're here. We are here for you. If you want to change your personal development and your mindset, we are also here. Just direct message us, either myself, Lester Bailey, or Natalie Cousins, because we're not just talking to wherever you are. If Natalie and I can have this conversation and she lives in one country and I live in another country, hey, you got somebody that'll be here with you at all times.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you. We look forward to working with you. And we really thank you. And for everybody who has come on, like Gordon, Natalie, and Art, and so many others that have come on, and we love you, Kathy. It's so good to see you. And Marie, and so who else has come on? And Cynthia, and Ted, and Edward. There's so many people who've come along just to talk about what we do. It's just something simple. No more excuses. That's all we're talking about. Stop using your excuses for what you want. Reach out to your coaches, your brand new coaches. If we could start this today, and today it's no procrastination, no excuses why we couldn't do it. We made a decision today and we kept up. What will you do in your lifetime? And Natalie, you can close us out.
Yeah. So I want to say this, guys. For years and years, I allowed relationship issues, work issues, all other issues to step in front of me. I neglected on who I was, what I wanted to do, and where I wanted to be. And sometimes you've really got to evaluate your environment. You've really got to evaluate the people around you. And you really, really, really have to step outside of the normal. See, I was too busy trying to fit into what society wanted me to be. Finish school, get married, have kids. In fact, how I knew that I was never going to fit into society is I did everything backwards. I got the job, then went to school, then had kids, then got married. And I'm not ashamed of the footsteps or the footprints that I have taken. It is what has worked for me. And the minute that I chose to focus on me and my purpose and my divine chief aim in life, listen, if you guys go back and look at even my YouTube channel and who I was, I am now in my purpose. And it took for me to evaluate and get new coaches, get new friends, and get a whole new community for me to be able to stand up here and talk to you guys. And I want to let you know now that you are only delaying on you. You are not delaying on your mom. You are not delaying on your dad. You are not delaying on your husband or your wife or your kids. You are delaying on yourself. And guess what? The minute you decide to make the shift and to reach out to get to that paradigm or that next dimension, the people who are meant to stay in your life, they will stay. The people who are meant to leave your life, they will leave. And the people who are meant to come in your life, they will enter. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much, Lester.
So you all make sure that you catch the replay if you're just now coming on and
Yes.
you missed anything. It's all about doing some changes, no more excuses.
Yes, sir.
That's what we want to talk about. And you will see us again. We don't have a particular time or date.
That's right.
But I can guarantee you when we do, you'll know because we promise we'll be back. We are your new coaches.
Yes.
So lose that weight. Start your own entrepreneurial business and be a part of our personal development mindset group because it's so important for you to make changes. So that's going to be PDF Guide to Success. You'll learn a lot of the tricks in which we're using. And guess what? You'll always be a part of something new and greater in your life.
Yes.
So get in alignment
with
your
your
assignment. Enjoy your new life. Stay brilliant. And thank you for coming along with us.
Thank you.
Until the next time, on behalf of Miss Natalie Cousins and myself, Lester Bailey, I'm about to get out the picture. See you all soon.
All right.
Bye-bye for
Bye-bye.
now.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, my face was in the picture yet. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whichever time of the day that you're seeing this. My name is Lester Bailey, and today I'm going to be talking about value and integrity. I'm going to have a special guest on today, my friend, Mr. Gordon So. And we run a business together, and one of the greatest things about working with Mr. So is that I learned so much, and I learned some of the importance of all the things that we kind of want in life. And hello, my partner, Miss Natalie Cousins. I see you've been working hard this morning, and this is from someone who was just sick so much last week that she couldn't move. So in saying all of that, we talk about integrity. What are some of the things that you have integrity about? And what are some of the things that you don't have as much integrity? One of the things that I do every day, and it's really important to me to do this, is to get up and exercise daily. And I want to make sure that I exercise every day. I don't take any chances on it. I get up here at 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what the temperature is. And believe me, in Arizona, the temperature is not quite cold. The temperature is pretty warm during this time. So while I'm walking, and it may be 6 o'clock in the morning, the temperature may be anywhere from 82, like today, it was actually 90 degrees when I started out at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I decided that for me, exercise is important. And self-integrity tells you about the things that you always talk about, the things that you want to talk about, the things that you want to do. And if you don't have integrity with the small things, how do you see yourself having any type of integrity with the things that are much larger? Do you ever see yourself doing something more than what you just believe? I was listening to a couple different stories, and I'm going to share a few stories. Good morning, Mr. Gordon. So it's
Good morning, Mr. Lester.
It's so important as when you're seeing what you call your own integrity, how you get up and how you show up. Well, let's start out with self-integrity before we get any further. What are some of the things that you tell yourself on a daily basis that you're going to do? I told you mine is exercise. That's the number one thing that I'm going to do. And I wait and spend that time making sure that I'm going to exercise. I remember when I first started out in walking, I had gotten a disease, which was diabetes. And they told me that I had to eat right and I had to exercise. So my journey began with eating and exercise. I had to make sure that I got my way to do one of those most important things. Now, my doctor asked me the very next month, have you stopped eating the same things? And have you started exercising? And my answer was yes. I immediately stopped eating my favorite thing called ice cream. That was my favorite thing. I loved ice cream. To let you know, I had retired and I ate ice cream. We're talking daily or nightly or day and night. And I had anywhere from a pint to a pint and a half and maybe a half gallon. And I gained so much weight. And I was sitting around and not doing as much as I could do. So, this is part of when you gain weight. So I had to start telling myself, okay, Lester, you need to change things. And I kept saying it until I was diagnosed. Once I got diagnosed, now I knew that I had to change the things that I wanted to do and how I wanted to go about
what I wanted in life. So I changed it. I started walking, and we'll say maybe the first day I started walking, I walked out the house down to the corner and back. That was my exercise. I was like, okay, that's it. The next day I decided I was going to walk further than my house. I went down the street to the corner and came back. I continued that walk, you know, from 3 miles to 5 miles. Now I walk every day, 10 miles a day. And the reason that I do it, thank you, sir. The reason that I do it because I had self-integrity with myself. It was one of those things that I had to learn. Mr. So had a conversation a little while this morning, and he asked the question, what is your integrity? And he gave an example, and I'm gonna step out the way and I'm gonna, you know, introduce you to, you know, one of my great friends. And I mean, this gentleman has helped me along the way and has encouraged me in so many ways to continue my new life out of retirement, or I should say out of what was retirement, because now I'm working harder now than I've ever worked when I was on the job. But he was able to share a story, and I'll let him ask the same question as I step out of the way here. And we're going to have this conversation because it's all about integrity, not just yourself, but how you do in life. So good morning, Mr. Gordon. So, and I really thank you for coming on with me, because we get a chance to talk about so many things and we help so many people. So give us some things that you believe about integrity, please, sir.
Oh, awesome. First of all, Lester, thank you so much for having me on here. Really appreciate it. I love you, man. You're like my brother from another mother. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
I remember the first time when I landed in Chicago and I met you for the first time, and you drove probably like an hour of your way to come and meet me at the airport and brought me to the event we were at. I knew from that day on there was something special with our with our friendship here. So thank you so much. Thank you. Did you want me to share the same stories that
yes, sir.
Facebook Live? Okay. Well, first of all, I when I was at the cottage last week and you posted, I was so glad you posted that. I don't think it was a Fitbit, but it's something like a Fitbit where you posted 19,000 some odd steps you had taken.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Well, have you hit 20,000 steps yet?
So far today, I have hit, and I'll tell you in just one quick moment, I have walked 20,070 steps. Or
yeah, congratulations.
that's always my goal.
Welcome, Johnny Rock. And welcome. And John, I haven't met him in person, but he truly can rock his guitar from what I understand. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome, Carlos. Integrity. What can I say? I just did a Facebook Live, and I wanted to share. With the folks in our circle of influence, but it's great to open it up. What is it? Integrity, and what was the other thing? Integrity and honesty.
Yes.
You always tell the truth. That's what it was. Should you always tell the truth, or is there ever a time where you should actually lie when you're asked a question? Okay. So I was sharing like two stories. One, a friend of mine in his early 20s, and if you know these, and I keep on forgetting if there's 5 or 6 brothers, right? It seems like there were 6. These guys are so big. They were all like over 6 feet tall, 6'5", 6'6", and these brothers always had each other's back. You knew if you messed with one, you had to mess with all of them. So chances are you probably didn't mess with any of them. Okay. And the youngest brother was in his early 20s at the time, and just an incredible kid. 6'5", 6'6", loves life, loves people, always respected the law, always respected people, and he wanted to become a police officer. And so he had a test. He was saying, Gordon, I had this test that I had to take to apply to become a police officer. So I don't know how many tests they have to take, but he said on one of them, he said, answered the questions, and then one of the questions was, have you ever driven a car while you had too much alcohol in your blood level to drive? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Legal limited. And they thought about it. And he says, do I tell the truth or do I lie? And so he said he ticked off on there the truth that he actually once drove a vehicle while he had already had a cup of drinks and it was over the limit. So I was saying to him, well, why did you say that? Because he said he told the truth, and they denied him the rights to ever become a police officer in the city he lived in. Isn't that crazy? He said, Gordon, I told the truth. He says, I agonized. He said, if I tell the truth, I bet you they're going to respect me even more. So and it wasn't even that big of a deal. He says, at 6'6", 250 pounds, you know how much alcohol I can absorb? So for me, if I have like this much drink, right, my head, like this, my head's already spinning. And, you know, some kids, like they're on their 10th beer, their 20th beer, and they walk around like they're normal. So again, I'm not condoning drinking and driving, but this kid he was devastated. He was saying that I told the truth and they penalized me for life. Well, the good news is it didn't end there for him, right? He actually joined the military and he served the country until the day he retired, which is incredible, okay? And then there was another young man here in Canada. I love sports and I love hockey. We have sent, I would say hundreds of kids on scholarships or financial aid to U.S. prep schools and NCAA programs for hockey, lacrosse, and baseball. And so there's one kid that we were working with who was 18 years old, who was in Connecticut on scholarship to play on a men's varsity hockey team, and he was 18 years old. And so while he was there, and you know, boys would do what boys would do, right? You guys relate to that?
Yes, sir.
You know, give me some likes if you agree with that, right? Boys would do what boys are going to do. So the boys decided to sit around in someone's dorm, and they started, you know, they were having a few drinks, and they didn't think much of it. They were having a few drinks, and they're chatting away, and somebody said, hey, there's a teacher coming. So everyone took off, darted, they all took off, except the one kid. And he just stood there, and he was willing to answer whatever consequences there were. And so when he was taken to the headmaster's office, they wanted to know who the other boys were. One, he went rat on them, right? So just knew who the other boys were. They asked the other guys, like, you know, were you there? Were you drinking underage? Because remember, he said in Canada, you know, at 18, we've already been drinking.
Okay.
It's just the law for 21 in the US, right? So all these kids took off. And then when they were asked, they denied that they were there. They denied they were drinking. So they were all left off scot-free. And so this young man was with the headmaster. They had their conversation. You know, he's earned scholarship. And the guy said, you know, what happened? He says, well, I'm telling you the truth. He says, I was there. I'm not going to lie to you, right? And so he said, well, we have to make an example out of somebody. So they gave him a school fine for telling the truth. So this young man had a chat with the headmaster and later on with his parents, saying, so basically what the headmaster is teaching us as a young man, that telling the truth is not important. Because I told the truth, but I got penalized for it. But the incredible thing is this young man has gone on to have an incredible career in the NCAA, and you know, has an incredible Ivy League education, and now dominating in the finance industry. So that's the good news, because both these young men, their story didn't end with telling the truth and being penalized, but they told the truth, and their integrity, their character, their integrity, and their honesty shaped their character moving in on the future. And they were still able to create influence and impact in their respective fields.
And it's funny that you say that. One of the funniest things that you say that, and especially inside of the field of being the police, and they talk about integrity and how important having integrity is. But inside of the job, there are times you're forced not to share the truth. I won't call it a lie, but you are forced not to share the truth in order to gain influence over some people in the criminal element of that type of job. And it's funny when you say that, and it's, how do you look at it? We have all met, I'll call people that are attorneys. And you believe that when you're hearing that story, what is integrity? In the US, we have our president of the United States, and this is not to make it political, but they've tracked the number of times where his story has not always fit what he said. And they've shown over 2,000 times where his integrity is not that of the same. And it's, you kind of look at, why do you think that integrity is important? When people believe you, especially like with us, we're in now an entrepreneurial field, a business field. And people love to know that you have integrity. If you saying that you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And I'll use an example of myself. You let me know, years ago, Lester, I'd like you to be a part of this book launch that I'm going to have. And I had to, it's like, I don't know if you're going to do the book launch or not, but the person that you are, your integrity told me that I can safely go ahead and go into a venture. And out of that venture, I became an international best-selling author. And I love that. Thank you.
Number one international best-selling author. And soon probably the second time.
Yes.
Right? Very soon, your second book, You Can't Afford the Luxury of Negative Thought. I have no doubt that book series is going to become #1 international bestseller as well. So it's going to be like 3 times.
That's now 2 times. And this is why integrity is so important when you're doing things. As in working with Gordon, and this is one of the reasons that I brought this on, and I show you why I think integrity is so important, is because there are opportunities in life that we sometimes let go or don't come our way because how people believe and perceive us to be is really important. So Gordon asked me also to read this book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. He didn't ask me 1 or 2 times. He asked me several times. He says, Lester, this is going to change your life. Now, I've read probably well over 1,000 books, Some of them had a small impact on me. Some of them had no impact on me at all. But he says, okay, Lester, this is what I want you to do. So I decided, said, okay, I'm not going to fight the process anymore. Like I said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read this book. And as in doing it, I was able to get 2 co-partners, Miss Patricia Lynn Stokes and Miss Natalie Cousins. And each night, okay, where's Michael? Each night I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, in a private Facebook group. And I wanted to make sure that, this book, as you still see, I read this book every night. Now, out of that, I grew with more knowledge than I've ever had before about, I'll call it basic training. And this is one of the greatest things. You have to have a foundation for everything that you want to do in life. And out of reading this book, it told me my foundation and it gave me a basic training. So I knew that through my integrity, through my persistence, and through my actions, because everything takes an action, why I wanted to go to this next step. So we started doing this, and we read it starting June 10th. We read 15 chapters every day, and it was amazing. Now we said, okay, we're going to do it a second time. We read this chapter again every night, 15 nights, and I learned more than I learned the first time. Now here comes the third time, and you all would think that third time would be the charm, but integrity says I must do it not just for me, but to help others. And that was the purpose of reading the book, because you wanted to be able to help and share knowledge with other people and not stop a process, because the book itself says, this is your knowledge. These principles work. Now, I've never met Napoleon Hill, never seen this man, but yet he talked to over 20,000 men, 25,000 men, to put a book together for over 25 years. He wanted to make sure that whatever he was telling you, and this is the importance of integrity, that it would still be the same and you would get the same results as anybody else would. So I thanks, Gordon, because this is one of the things that we've done. So Gordon and I said, okay, what else? What's next? I always love, Gordon, because he has a what's next. If anybody wants to grow in your life, and being in our community, you would learn that the what's next is only one step to the what's next that follows that. So we started to podcast, and I love the podcasting idea. I mean, I was dragged again. Here it is. I'm telling you, this is my integrity. I'm dragging my feet on beginning this podcast. So Gordon says, okay, we're going to do a 30-day challenge. We're going to start September 1st through September 30th. We're going to do a podcast every day. So what did I decide to do? Instead of waiting until September to start my podcast and to start a daily podcast, I started the day he said it.
Yeah.
I'm on
Yeah.
Podbeam, you all. Podbeam under unlimited boundaries.
Lester, how many episodes do you have now?
I believe I now have 25.
That's incredible. 25 episodes. Right? So you officially launched that to iTunes?
Not yet. I have to learn how to do that.
So when you officially launched to iTunes,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have like 25 episodes people can start binging on right away.
Yes.
Is that incredible? So Podbean isn't the magic. Podbean is just a placeholder, if I could use that word, that you upload files to, because iTunes it's a myth when people say you could upload directly to iTunes. No, iTunes won't allow you to do that. Mm-hmm. So you have to upload to somewhere first, and it goes to iTunes, which we chose Podbean. I mean, if you can find a better platform, by all means do. We just believe for us right now, it's the best platform where we can best serve our clients. Mm-hmm. And, Lester, there are individuals that have thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions. Tim Ferriss has over 100 million plus downloads. I don't know about you. I don't know, other than, like you said, Donald Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Who have stuff that I shake my head every now and then. Like, what is that all about? And they have millions of views. Most people brag about YouTube and Instagram. So a friend of mine showed me a Facebook Live, and he had 8,000 views. You got to do Facebook Lives. Mm-hmm. So I showed him somebody's podcast that they had just started 3 weeks ago, a real estate agent that had over 20,000 downloads. And a 3 of a circle of influence reached out to him, buy and sell a piece of real estate, and made over $30,000 to $50,000 in a 3-week period because he started a podcast. Will that happen for everyone? No, but it's a tool, right? Remember we talked about that earlier in the last Facebook Live? When people tell you the system, they have a system that works for everyone, that's when you know they're a snake oil salesman. Because it doesn't work for everyone. Maybe the system will work to a point where you can tweak it to work for you, right? But it's not going to work for everyone. So I didn't mean to cut you off there. So I'm so excited that you have started your podcast. Oh, yes. We have folks in Chicago. Now that you left Chicago, we replaced you with Monique. Nice and Sean. You have Michael Andrews, a good friend Michael, who's going to be starting a podcast down in Chicago. You have Nalika, who's working with Fortune. It's kind of neat because he already has 30 to 50 Fortune 500 companies that hires him to speak now. In fact, our Facebook Live yesterday in the morning, he was showing me where he was staying, and he turned his camera and he was, he says, Gordon, if you think your lake view is beautiful, you should see the Indian Ocean. Right? Can you imagine getting paid to go and train?
Oh yeah.
On you and they're flying you into a resort, and you're staying on the Indian Ocean. So Nalika's now he's gonna be podcasting. But what I want to share is this, Lester, you and Natalie and Patricia are teaching. If you just don't just talk, right? Apply knowledge. You just do it. Okay. Well, I've been talking about taking our speakers platform to a whole new level, because folks are saying to me, how do I get corporate speaking gigs? I know nothing about that. But I'll tell you what, let me go and find out. So I started talking to a friend of mine whose wife runs one of the big 5 accounting firms in the world. So I started talking to my nephew, whose wife has been hired by one of the 5 major banks in Canada to start an entire brand new division that's going to work with C-level executives on their mental wellness. And I started talking to my to a friend of mine in Asia, and so he says, Gordon, I got it. So he says, I can work on the IQ side with banks, and you can work on the EQ side with banks. I didn't even know what he's talking about. I just shook my head.
Okay.
She said, all right, what's EQ? And she's like, Gordon, that's exactly what I do. And then I went and talked to Haley, and I went and talked to Azar, and we put together our team, and we're talking to Kula, and we're putting together like entire package to introduce to the Asian market the talent that we have. How many of you would like to be added to that? Right? The talent that we have that could go over to Asia and work with major corporations on their mindset, on their resiliency, on how to bounce back, etc. And so I get a call from Nalika who says, can you help bring me to North America? Can you help bring some of our folks to Asia?
Yes.
Yes. That's a mastermind.
Yes.
Surround yourself only with people
who
will lift you up. When I say that all the time, my friend Jonathan Weaver and John Taylor, like both Johns, right? They're like, you're not too heavy to lift up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, integrity. That's what we started off with.
Yes.
Do people truly have that integrity where they're going to do the thing they said they would do long after the mood in which they said it in has left them?
Yes.
Does that make sense? And that's what we want to build. We want to build a circle, a community of like-minded individuals that doesn't run every time they see another silver bullet somewhere.
Yes.
I'll promise you there's always going to be another opportunity that's going to look better tomorrow. And if you wait 6 months, there'll be another opportunity that looks better than the opportunity you're going to see 6 months from now. If you look for another year, there's going to be always something else. There's always something that looks better, right? But when you stay and you have a group that you can actually lock steps together, things are going to happen. Just like your series that you're in, the Empower Women Succeed with Randy Goodman.
Yes.
7 #1 international best-selling authors.
Yes, yes.
More are in the wings. Over 100 plus are in the wings to become #1 international bestsellers with You Can't Afford the Luxury of Negative Thought. And Kathy, yes, you should be we have about 3 or 4 books coming up.
Yes.
My friend Pasha Oliver Carter, if you didn't get a chance to get on her Facebook Live yesterday, Pasha and her husband Steve have had 7-figure income years in their in what they do. She'll speak on a stage with one of my favorite coaches and mentors, John Maxwell. Does that make sense?
Yes.
She'll speak on the stage with one of my favorite coaches and mentors, Les Brown. That's Pasha Carter. There's going to be books coming out together with Pasha. There's going to be books coming out together with Byron Nelson. There's going to be books coming out together with Suzanne Hart. There's going to be books coming out together with Todd Stottlemyre, right? Who's right where you in your own backyard. In fact, Lester, yourself and Kathy being in Arizona should actually consider being in that book.
Yes.
With Todd Stottlemyre, and maybe by the time I have my lunch meeting tomorrow with Satish, who's the founder of and CEO of Think and Grow Rich Institute, maybe we'll endorse the book.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But anyways, I'm talking too much here. I'm gonna throw it back to you.
No, you're seeking. If you all are very interested in starting certain type of businesses, I invite you. I have to say this directly. I invite you to direct message me to be a part of the Think and Grow Rich community, because one of the I should say it's called personal development, personal development, personal growth mindset group. The reason that we're doing this thing, the reason that we're talking about integrity, is because in order to do business with me, in order to do business with Gordon, you have to know the principles of Think and Grow Rich. This is not a one-time event. You have to know what those principles are. And we talk about what is your desire statement. That's one of the biggest things. How do you use your faith? How do you use your persistence? How do you use your specialized knowledge? How do you put a mindset group together? What are the thoughts that you're putting in your head as for your auto-suggestion or your subconscious mind? What are these things that start to move you in the right area? How to get past your fears, and what some of the fears that you would do, and to get rid of negativity and negative people, because you're not finding yourself going anywhere by holding on to these things. So this is all called your personal integrity. These are things that has to be inside with you. We talk about, the leaders that are amongst this group are so many, they're vast. And what they're doing is helping you with your own knowledge, because you say, I want to be in business, I'm going to do this. And you have these great ideas, but what have you done with them? How have you sat back and told yourself, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get ready to do it, and you still haven't done it? That's against your own self-integrity. You haven't done it yet. So what are you saying to yourself? How are you going to be with someone else and you tell them that you follow up on your word with everything that they ask, and you don't follow up on your own word.
Wow. Wow. How about that?
That's the most important part of integrity. You can't
Yes.
say that. How do you add value to someone when you're the person that's not adding value to yourself? I started out with exercise. That adds my value. Me
Yes.
reading and me talking and me teaching, me coaching, these are things that are adding value, and it's boosting my integrity because I'm learning new skills and new habits. What are your new
Wow.
skills? What are your new habits? This is, these are the things that I'm growing with daily. And I want to give my example because it's up to me to show you what I'm doing. If you hold me accountable, and I love to talk about results, everything that you do, you should have a result, column right behind whatever you do, because you know what you say that you're going to do. You know what you plan to do. You know that you're doing it. But what are your end results? Because if you don't have any measurable results, you do absolutely nothing. And I think a friend of mine talked about how smart are you? And smart meaning specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals.
Yes.
Are you setting goals? Are you talking about setting goals? Are you still dreaming, but the difference between a dream and a goal is a deadline. That's the only difference between a dream and a goal. What are you doing in order to reach your goals? How much integrity do you have in order to do something more special than yourself? Because no matter, especially if you're in business and you're looking for clients, what are you showing your clients? How are you getting to your clients if you are not doing something of value to someone else? How are you showing up that day? and that's part of, the lessons that we learn as we go along. When we surround ourselves by people who pick us up, that means that somebody is there for you in all types of ways and giving you a direction and being able to help you pass your roadblocks. All of us have roadblocks. Every person has a roadblock. Every person has a story in which they began with that didn't end right. Opportunities. I love opportunities. Opportunities come to each and every person out here. Whether you pick it up or not, it's up to you. Because your opportunity doesn't stop. It just goes to the next person. Did you miss that? Did you catch that? The opportunity is there, but did you take it or did you give it to someone else? And it was your choice. How you show up to things. I love when people say and they do nothing. How many people have you met in your life that say, I'm going to do it? And the closest thing that they ever did in their life was nothing. And they repeated the nothing process day in and day out.
I love that.
How many people here is most of you all's best friend. It's called procrastination.
Wow.
And you say to yourself, this is what you say to yourself: I'll get started as soon as procrastination leaves.
Wow.
Procrastination doesn't leave you. Where do you see yourself? How much strength and energy do you have? What do you give in your life? You talk about the best teachers and speakers of the world who you paid thousands and thousands of dollars to go to seminars. And yet, when it was all over, because you said that you were going to do what they said to do in that, they told you what they were going to do and how your life was going to change. And you paid thousands and thousands of dollars, and yet you're still here waiting to get started.
Yeah. So what's the problem, right?
That's it.
Lester, I want to talk about. So Derek Marshall, is Derek a friend of yours?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Derek posted. People always say they have a lot of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So first of all, Derek, people who have integrity never have to talk about it. Right? My mentor told me a lot of time ago, when someone says, have you noticed someone who say, I got your back?
Oh my goodness.
The people who have your back, they never have to say it. You always know they have your back. Right? Always have a mutual friend that had a massive heart attack and died in a car accident earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up at the cottage and I get a call from my friend Byron Nelson, who is one of the most busy individuals you can imagine. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And, Byron, we don't have to talk. I know he's got my back. Does that make sense? So because you're a police officer, I'm going to share a story with you, Lester, that you're going to laugh. Okay. So
Okay.
a friend of mine here in Toronto, he could have probably ran for chief of police at one point. That's how high up he was here in the police force here in Toronto. And he was saying to me, he said, Gordon, he says, one time I'm chasing these bad guys down the alley and I have my partner. Well, as a police officer, your partner has your back, don't they?
Yes.
So I'd be chasing these guys down the alley, and then all of a sudden I get down there, there's me and there's two of these guys I'm chasing, and I look, and the guy who's got my back, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I said, what do you mean? And he looked at me and he said, it always happens when I'm working with Asian police officers. Like, well, what are you trying to say? But he says, no, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say anything mean to you. It's just for some reason, when I have an Asian partner, I chase guys down an alley and they get scared and they're gone. That's not having someone's back.
No.
Right? But he says, they always say, I got your back. So remember that. People who have to say it usually don't have it.
And listen, I'll tell you the same story because this happened to me personally. I was working with a particular police officer in one of the police districts here, and we get a call of a domestic. And inside of that, of course, a fight breaks out. So I'm in here fighting, and all of a sudden I'm fighting two people, but I'm in the place with my partner. My partner goes into the closet and locks himself into the closet and holds the door closed while I'm out here fighting two people. And it's funny because this guy was 6'5", about 260 pounds, and he is scared of fighting. And he comes out and he tells everybody, although they got him off the job later on, but he tells everybody that the punches hurt. So that's why he didn't like to fight.
Wow.
But here it is. I'm thinking that he has my back, but sometimes you learn in life that everybody doesn't have the same type of integrity that you have.
Yeah.
Everybody is not going to stand up there with you. And you have to know that when you're going into the place, how special are you? What type of person are you? That's the one that has to show up. When someone talks about you, are they going to give a story of integrity, or are they going to give a story of, I should have? Man, I could have been there with you. Oh, if I would have been there, I would have done this with you. Well, would you?
Always right. Yeah. And then when you do need them, they're never there.
They're never there. How you show up. We talk about being a part of my, the group that I'm in. We show up every night. Yes. There is no reason that we're not showing up. Why are we showing up? Because we understand that our integrity, our show up, our persistence, our understanding, our dedication.
Yes.
It wasn't asked of me to do this. Yes. It was asked of me to read one time.
And it's right there, right? So let me ask you this: from the first time you read Think and Grow Rich with this group, how do you feel after reading it after the third time? Have you felt an improvement?
Oh, major improvement.
Yeah.
I felt so many major improvements. One of my favorite chapters in the book is called Organized Planning. And I love the thing on organized planning. And I for those of you that are looking for a job or looking to be an entrepreneur or learning how that actually works, out of all the chapters, and each chapter is very important, do not discount one chapter. One of the biggest things that it talks about is, like, if you were looking for a job, it actually spells out what you need and how you need to do it. If you were looking for customers, it tells you what you need and how you need to do it, how to put a plan together, because most of us think we know how to write a business plan. And then we want to go out and pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to someone to help us write a business plan that will probably net us about $100. You'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but you'll get about $100 because they're not really teaching you anything. Inside of the book of Think and Grow Rich, when I say it details you out, it gives you that floor plan, that basic training, that foundation. That's what it is. And I love that book because it has taught me in so many type of ways. Another chapter is one of my co-partners, and I tease her all about her because I always tell Natalie that her favorite chapter is sex transmutation. And yes, they talk about sex in the book, but it's how you use that particular energy.
Yes.
And it's when you're learning what that energy is. Another chapter, you know, and I like how Gordon just asked me because he knew that I can't stop talking about it, is your specialized knowledge. Who out here does not have a specialized knowledge and something that they know that they can share? What is your wisdom? What is the one thing that you know that you can share with everyone and yet get paid to do it?
Wow.
That's why I love the book. I love the understanding of it. That's one of the reasons that we're reading it for the 4th time. And yes, again, direct message me if anybody wants to be a part of my group, because between myself, Ms. Natalie Cousins, Mr. Gordon Soul, Ms. Patricia Lynn Stokes, we're doing dynamic things, and there's so many things that are going to happen in Canada. So if you all ever plan a trip to Canada, believe me, we will get you in front of the people who want to take you to a next level, a higher level, because this is all about surrounding yourself around people who want to lift you up and who have direction and who has something that wants you to go ahead and to be done. Hello, Mimi. I'm glad you also joined the group.
Yes.
We are so ready for you. I mean, Gordon, you know, we often talk about it, but what were one of your favorite chapters in Think and Grow Rich?
You know, desire, burning desire. The chapter that talks about, I love burning desire.
Yes.
To me, everything starts with desire, and it has to be a burning desire, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a point where when somebody tells you to do anything else, you just get so annoyed. And you know, one of our burning desires is to impact over 1 million people with our group.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get asked the question, well, we finished the chapter, what do we do next? Do it again. Do it again, and again. Let's think about this for a minute. If we're going to impact 1 million people, how many people have now joined our group?
Yes.
Less than 200.
Yep.
So that means we're like 900,000, 900, and I can't even do math. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We haven't even started to scratch the surface of people we want to influence. Folks, if you haven't joined the group, maybe somebody should post a link, and it's by invitation only, so you could request to be part of the group, and then Patricia Lynn Stokes will have a conversation with you to make sure that our group actually fits what you're looking for and what we're looking for in terms of individuals that are like-minded that would be part of this group. Now, a magician, a friend of mine taught me this a long time. She said, you know, my dad's a magician. And what he taught me was, have you noticed they do the same tricks over and over again? Mm-hmm. It's the same tricks over and over again. You don't need new tricks. You just need a new audience. You just need a new audience. If we've only talked to 200, I don't know about you guys, like the city of Toronto has 3 million people. Like just the city of Toronto alone, we haven't even started, we haven't even gone down our street. If there's only 200 people we impacted. Let's get more people on here. Let's invite more of your friends that need this this group. Let's invite them on here. So, you know, there's always that expression, like, if you don't want the answer, don't ask the question. Because if we're still at 200 after the 15 days, and you're going to ask me, what's the next book to read? Can we read Outwitting the Devil? Yes. Can we read The Magic of Thinking Big? Yes. Can we read The Greatest Salesman in the World with Og Mandino? Yes. There's so many other books out there we can read. Can we read The Laws of Success or The Science of Getting Rich? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. You should be reading on your own anyways. But if we're going to grow the idea of Think and Grow Rich, there's only 200 people on here. Shame on us. Like, who are we truly impacting? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's one person at a time who truly wants to be here, but let's get a new audience. Let's get let's get more people we can truly impact, right? Because, you know, the Think and Grow Rich concept is so powerful. And if it's okay, I'd love to finish with this.
Please.
When I was just getting started in my career, and I was starting in the network marketing industry, I was just learning. And I remember being in Hong Kong. I remember the owner of that particular company. He, just put into perspective, he was a guy who was in the OEM manufacturing field. So he was never owner of a network marketing company to start off with. How many of you remember the Cabbage Patch dolls? That was him. He made Cabbage Patch dolls. He made products with ColecoVision.
Mm-hmm.
He made products for, how many people have used the, now we're dating ourselves, right? Like Texas Instruments calculators.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was the company. They were an OEM manufacturer. So they started a network marketing company because a company out of the UK had to manufacture these little boxes that were security alarms, and then the company went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So he was stuck with that warehouse of these products. So he hooked up with some network marketers, started a network marketing company, and the company started to take off. And head office was actually out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Huh.
Close. Yes.
So when we launched Hong Kong, one day he rented this beautiful yacht. There was about 100 of us on this yacht. I'm talking about a yacht. It's like a gorgeous, beautiful yacht. Right? He wined us, he dined us, he took us around the Indian Ocean. We had some guys from North Carolina there. What's Lake Norman? He was bragging about as a younger fella, he could barefoot ski, and we had guys from California and had another guy from Florida. And boy, these three American guys, they were water skiing on in the South China Sea like there was no tomorrow. It was absolutely incredible. And then we ended up on this beautiful island, this fishing island, and that was the first time I fell in love with seafood. And so I had this dream that, wouldn't it be nice if one day I could actually afford to entertain a group here in Hong Kong on this beautiful yacht and then take them to this island. So back in May when I was in Hong Kong, I didn't rent that yacht, but I took my wife on a ferry to this beautiful island that we had called Lama Island, where we had ended up that time. And we hiked for about 2.5 hours through some of the most picturesque mountains you can imagine in Hong Kong. And then we passed all these little villages along the way. And it reminded me a lot of my childhood, which was kind of neat. And then we ended up in this fishing village, and we sat at this restaurant, and the guy who owned the restaurant that served us, he was like an 11th generation fisherman. He's incredible. And so my son's getting married in December, and there's a number of things that are going to be happening during that week. And one of the things he said, Dad, I'd like you to organize an event. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what event am I going to organize? And so he's got about 30 or 40 of his friends right here at home in Toronto, in the beaches area that he grew up with, that are all flying over for the wedding. And because he lived 6 to 7 years in New York and Boston and Connecticut, there's about 50 of them coming over from there. So the yacht that I was on, a very similar yacht, I'm going to rent for his wedding. Actually, not his wedding. So we'll have the wedding, and then we'll have like a boat cruise for the guests that are flying in. There's going to be about 100 of us on this beautiful cruise. And I'm going to live out this dream that I had from 25 years ago, 20-some-odd, when I sat there and I thought, not in a million years could I ever be able to do this for my guests. So we're going to have over 100 people there from all around the world, right? From Singapore, from Malaysia, from Thailand, right? From here back at home here in North America. And the folks are going to be on this yacht. And I want to have that same experience where they're going to be wine and dine in this yacht. And the kids who want to go skiing, or they can do that right in the Indian Ocean. And then we're going to end up on this beautiful island, right? We're going to rent this private island where we're just going to have, the boys and the kids and everybody in the family. They can just get to meet and know each other. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is.
And back then, it was just a dream, right? If thoughts are things, what are you thinking about? Think and Grow Rich isn't about you're going to think about something, you're going to be rich. It's not all about making money. It's also about a science and a technology that you can actually use on self-management of your thoughts, your ideas, your plans, your actions, systems. Isn't that powerful? So
that is.
How do you turn a thought into reality? And in a couple months, that's going to become a reality. And so along this journey, in terms of exercise, she started with exercise, Lester, earlier on, and I've always been someone who's been really thin or skinny, right? My kids tell me I'm the only guy that could turn away sideways in the shower and not get wet, right? I've never been able to put on weight, never been able to put on weight. So my daughter, who's been an athlete all her life, just got married in December, started teaching school this year, says, Dad, I just had no time. You know, being married, teaching, I have no time to work out. And so she started a program called Beachbody. And I'm not here to promote any program. I'm not with a program or a network marketing company. So she started selling, she went on an 80-day journey in Beachbody herself. And she's, I feel so fit. I put on 5 pounds of solid muscles. And now I want to be a coach. So she became a coach. Now she's got clients she's coaching. So I said to her, I will become your #1 client. I will be your first client ever. Right. So even though I'm out of the industry of direct sales network marketing, I still have clients that are making 5, 6, 7, 8-figure incomes a year that I work with. So I'm not in network marketing, but I'm indirectly involved in network marketing. I would have never thought in a million years my kids would get into network marketing. So my daughter is with Beachbody. So I started Beachbody. And the first time I tried the 25-minute workout, even though I thought I was fit, at the 5-minute mark, I was saying to my daughter, like, can we just take a rest? She says, no, Dad. That's the power of having a coach, right? And we finished it. It was rough. The second time, by about the 5-minute mark, and somehow you just find that second win. And now I completed 60 days of Beachbody. Okay, so this is not to brag or anything like that, because I know there are folks that are 10 times ahead of where I am. Like this is the guys. This is the
show off your buff. Show off your buff.
And this is a guy who just turned 57. Does that make sense? Go. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Lester, and when Lester started saying to me, I'm going to start walking. Like, are you kidding me, Lester? You were a police officer. When you were a police officer, I bet you were a beast.
Yes. I always stayed in good shape.
Yeah. Right? Age is only a factor.
That's it.
So, for the folks that are on here, financially, emotionally, physically, right, whatever it is, make a decision. Like, make a decision that you can do, you can improve, but don't just make a decision, right? Pasha just posted something on Facebook the other day, and she said 5 birds sitting on a fence, 3 decided to fly off. How many are still sitting on a fence? All 5, right? 3 made a decision. Just because you make a decision doesn't mean you actually acted on it. So too many people say, well, I'm going to do something. I'm going to lose weight, right? I'm going to read a book. I'm going to read Think and Grow Rich. And here's how you know they don't even read it. They tell everybody else to go and read it. And when you ask them things like, how did you like the chapter on sexual transmutation? They're like, they're so embarrassed. Like, what did you say? They don't even know there's a chapter on sexual transmutation.
No.
They've never even read it. And so, folks, like, read it. Read it once a year. Read it twice a year. Highlight it. Work with Natalie. Work with Lester. Work with Patricia when the PDF Guide to Success comes out. And you actually have something that you can follow, right? Where you can actually write down your desire statement, your goal statements, like all the different statements that's going to help you organize your thoughts. Organize your thoughts. Put together a system that's going to work for you to achieve your hopes and dreams and goals. So that's all I want to share with you, Lester.
Well, thank you. And I really appreciate you, Gordon, because it is dynamic that we get on here and we talk to encourage other people to not sit on the fences any longer, to move a little bit further, to have self-integrity and to have integrity in all that you do. Make sure that you have a burning desire. Make sure that you are persistent. Have the faith that you can do anything that you want to do. And we're waiting to help you as you help yourself. You're going to be the one who's going to participate in your own rescue, but we're there to help rescue you. So until the next time, lead the greatest life. Have a fantastic day. And I appreciate each and every one of you all joining us today. It has been amazing. And you have learned something brand new. So until the next time, You all take care. See you on the Facebook Lives, or again, 2 podcasts I want you to make sure that you be a part of. Social Media Currency, and this is on Podbean. Social Media Currency, and also Unlimited Boundaries. That's our podcast, and I want you to be a part of it as you grow in your life. And until the next time.
Post it on here, okay?
I will.
If you could post a link of, if for the folks here who want to learn, who want to know, if you want to know how powerful social media is, a friend of mine who's the mayor of Niagara Falls,
Yes.
DOW, post that episode if you can, Lester, and watch how Jim is using social media to invite Ellen. If anyone ever likes the Ellen show, it is so entertaining and creative on what he's doing on social media to get Ellen to have her show up in Niagara Falls.
And she's considering it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
I will post that in the feed, and I want you all to be able to take advantage of the things that's actually out there. Here's your opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. So live your greatest life. And until the next time, we both appreciate you. This is Mr. Gordon So, and I'm Lester Bailey. Thank you all for joining us. Have an amazing, amazing life. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.